When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way.
Welcome to the New Atheist Experience. We are live with Kweli, Kush, and Kweli. This is the show that strives to educate, inform, and grow our community by promoting reading, critical thinking, and secular humanism as a replacement for the heavily biblical worldview that has halted the growth of our people for over 2,000 years. It is the lack of scientific literacy, logic, reasoning, and critical thinking in our community that produces a public that is more susceptible to trickery, scams, and cons. Not only does religion make one less likely to value reality, but it also produces many of the ills of our society: racism, prejudice, and various superstitious beliefs. On this show, we encourage people to question their beliefs and their origins and how religious thought patterns affect our behavior. You can listen to this show as a podcast on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. You can also watch us live on YouTube every Sunday. We also have other shows on our channel, so if you like this show, you might want to check those out as well. We have a science podcast called Shout Out Electron and an investigative podcast called New Thugs. Those links are in the description below. If you love this content, why not consider making a contribution to help us grow our platform and reach more people? Your contribution will help us pay for various monthly subscriptions and equipment costs needed to produce this content. You can make a one-time, monthly, or annual contribution directly at our website, kwelikush.com. Every dollar helps us out, so don't hesitate to show your support. If you would love to contribute but you cannot contribute financially, you can still help out the show by clicking the like button, sharing this content on your social media, or by visiting the website kwelikush.com. Your engagement helps us rank better and thus reach more people. Check the description below for all of these links. Now, for all my Bible readers out there, for all my Quran readers out there, you've been reading the same book for generations and you still have not found liberation for our people. How much better would our community be if instead of reading the same book every Sunday over and over again, we read a different book every Sunday? Imagine that. If the preacher read a different book to the congregation every Sunday instead of the same book over and over again, how much smarter would the congregation be? Well, church, at kwelikush.com, we read a different book to you every single day. For free. You don't have to read the books yourself anymore. I read them to you, and all you have to do is listen. You no longer have an excuse not to read books. Because I know a lot of y'all like to say that you don't have time or you can't sit still. Well, now you can listen to books anytime, anywhere. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on these free audiobooks. And if you don't prefer the books that I choose to read, you can get 2 free audiobooks of your choice when you sign up for a free trial with Audible. That link is also in the description, or you can go to kwelikush.com and click the audiobooks tab. So make sure you share this content on your social media and help us grow our platform and help wake these people up. And without further ado, we're going to begin the show. You are listening to the New Atheist Experience. Hey, did you know Amazon had a website for black businesses? That's right, blackownedamazon.com. If you're black, show you're black. Shop black. Every single product on blackownedamazon.com is from a black-owned business. And not only that, when you buy from blackownedamazon.com, Amazon will donate a portion of your total purchase to assist new black-owned businesses. So if you're black, show you're black. Shop black. blackownedamazon.com. Be sure to bookmark this website so that you never forget to shop at blackownedamazon.com. Welcome everybody back to the New Atheist Experience with your hosts Kweli, Kush, and Kweli. As always, we strive to educate and inform the community on skepticism and free thinking and secular humanism, as opposed to the heavily biblical worldview that has halted the growth of black people for over 2,000 years. So, as always, we're going to start it off with the book of the day. Today's book of the day is called Godless by Dan Barker. Oprah said it was 17 years, but it was actually 19 years between Barker's first sermon at the age of 15 and his last sermon at the age of 34. In part 1 of Godless, He tells the story of how he moved from a devout preacher to an atheist and even beyond that. And in part 2, he describes why he was an atheist and presents his philosophical reasons for unbelief. And in part 3 of the book, he describes what's wrong with his previous religion, Christianity, critiques the Bible, its reliability, as well as its morality, and the historical evidence for Jesus. And lastly, but certainly not least, in part 4, titled Life is Good, he goes back to his personal story and takes a case to the United States Supreme Court dealing with personal trauma and experiencing the excitement of adventures in atheism. So millions of good people live moral, happy, loving, meaningful lives without believing in God. So if you want to read this book or listen to it, you can do so. The link is in the description. And if you decide to sign up for Audible, not only will you get 2 free audio books, but you'll also be helping this channel in the process. So please check that link out. It's in the description. And I know it is Valentine's Day, so first of all, I want to thank everybody for popping in. If you fuck with Valentine's Day, I personally don't celebrate commercial holidays, but I understand that everybody like to have a little fun and take a little break every now and then. So if you into Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day to you. And in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we were supposed to air a little clip about dating atheists a while back. We never got to air the clip. And if you're watching live, then you're in for a treat because you get to actually see it. If you're not watching live and you're watching after the show has already aired, it's a possibility that this clip will be removed by YouTube for copyright reasons. So please forgive me, but I will post it on my website if you want to check it out. It's KweliKush.com. But for everybody else that's watching live now, we can go ahead and get into this clip. So basically, tonight we're going to have an open topic call-in show. For all the people that love to ask me questions in the chat room, now is the time for you to call in. So you don't have to badger me via comments. We do this every week, so you can just call in and cuss me out face to face like a real man or a woman or whatever you are. But first of all, before we start talking to the callers, we're going to play these clips. Hopefully that'll inspire y'all to get some talking points so y'all can call in and let us know what's on your mind. You don't have to be an atheist to call in. We love to talk to people who disagree with us, actually more than we love to talk to people who agree with us. So if you are a believer, please call in. The number is on the bottom of the screen. So let's check out this video right quick.
Now, think about
why the atheists can't get no love, y'all. Why the atheists can't get no love, y'all. Now, me personally, I don't have this issue. I ain't boasting or bragging or tooting my own horn, but everybody knows that Kweli is slanging the best D out here. We ain't got to get all into all of that. But why the atheists can't get no love, though? What is it about being an atheist? So I don't believe in your imaginary friend, so you can't be in a relationship with me. Somebody call in and help make sense of this for me. If you were atheist, do you experience problems in your marriage, relationship, sexcapades related to your atheism? And if you were a Christian or a believer of any kind, how would you feel if you found out that your significant other had lost their faith? Let's talk about it. In the meantime, let's discuss this Bible that y'all love so much. How is history written? Real history. What is the labor required to give accurate accounts of events in the past? In certain books like The Greater Journey from David McCullough, his text describes Paris sojourns of Mary Cassatt and Samuel Morse, among many others. They're followed by 76 pages listing many sources, exactly where he found his information. McCullough spent a lot of time digging in libraries and archives. If McCullough and countless other historians didn't name their sources, we would have every right to be suspicious. Then there are novelists, authors who write historical novels, usually consult sources as well, but then use their imaginations to create stories. Modern readers are usually savvy enough to know the different genres. But then there's the Bible. And why do I say it like that? Because, folks, when you read the Bible, you literally buy bull. So, the readers of the Bible seem little inclined to ask of any chapter, in the Gospels especially, where did this story come from? What are the author's sources? Why should it be trusted? Since the Bible has been hyped forever as the Word of God, that it was inspired by God, readers let their guard down. Rembrandt even depicted an angel whispering to the gospel in Matthew's ear, a romanticized notion that appeals to some of the faithful. In the absence of the angel, however, we are still asked to believe that God, in the form of the Holy Spirit, I suppose, manipulated the brains of the Bible authors to write specific words on the page. How can this be verified? Did the words that ended up on the page flow from God or from the author's imagination? Sadly, one is just as likely as the other, which is being generous, since we suspect, based on the poor quality of much of the Bible, that God had nothing to do with it. So, we're back to the basic question. Where does it come from? This is especially true when we try to evaluate the book of Acts, the sequel to Luke's gospel. It was written perhaps 50 to 60 years after the events depicted, and we hit this brick wall. The author never names his sources. Where did he get his information? Consider the opening verses of Acts, chapter 18, verses 1 through 3. And I quote, "After this, Paul left Athens and went to Corinth. There he found a Jew named Aquila, a native of Pontus, who had recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla. Because Claudius had ordered all Jews to leave Rome, Paul went to see them. And because he was of the same trade, he stayed with them, and they worked together. By trade, they were tent makers." Now this seems like a straightforward reporting. Why suspect anything else? I mean, especially it mentions the expulsion of Jews from Rome, known from other sources as well, right? But it's common for novelists to mention historical events, as we know. And we know that the author of Acts can't be taken seriously as a historian. His characters include angels and the Holy Spirit, which are a mark of fantasy literature, fiction. To say nothing of what we find in Acts chapter 1, the ascension of Jesus, i.e. his disappearance into heaven through the clouds, that most certainly is fiction. And Christians who suggest, well, it's just a metaphor, concede that it fails as actual history. Luke postures as a historian in Luke chapter 1, verses 1 through 3, in which he claims to use accounts handed on to us by those who, from the beginning, were eyewitnesses. But that's not good enough. How was the handing on done? By documentation, by word of mouth? He doesn't say. He does not name specific sources, letters, diaries, transcripts, or other archival materials that we should expect a historian to be quoting. We suspect that perhaps Luke is just winging it. Christian curiosity fails if Bible readers don't ask or probe and question how texts were created. The sequel to Luke's gospel is especially suspect. And I quote, "The book of Acts has been all discredited as a work of apologetic historical fiction. Nevertheless, its author, traditionally Luke, the author of the gospel, may have derived some of its material or earlier ideas from traditions, written or oral. But the latter will still be extremely unreliable and wholly unverifiable. And not only because testing out what Luke inherited from what Luke chose to compose their form is all but impossible for us now. Thus, our best hope is to posit some written sources, even though their reliability would be almost hard to verify, especially again, as we don't have them. So we cannot distinguish what they actually said from what Luke added, left out, or changed." End quote. And that's from Richard Carrier on the historicity of Jesus, another writer that you might want to check out. Christian curiosity should also extend to spotting religious fanatics. How would devout Catholics feel if Mormon missionaries invaded Sunday Mass to argue that Mormonism is the right religion? How would devout Baptists feel if Muslims barged into their services to do the same thing? We tend not to like religious fanatics advocating other religions. But the heroes in Acts 18 are up to just that. Quote, every Sabbath, Paul would argue in the synagogue and would try to convince Jews and Greeks. While Silas and Timothy arrived from Macedonia, Paul was occupied with proclaiming the word, testifying to the Jews that the Messiah was Jesus. And here we go again, another quote. Now there came Ephesus, a Jew named Apollos, a native of Alexandria. He was an eloquent man, well versed in the scriptures. He had been instructed in the way of the Lord, and he spoke with burning enthusiasm and taught accurately the things concerning Jesus, though he knew only the baptism of John. He began to speak boldly in the synagogue, but when Priscilla and Aquila heard him, they took him aside and explained the way of God to him more accurately. Now, notice that the author of Acts admits too much. Apollos preached with burning enthusiasm and taught accurately, but he got some of the message wrong. When Priscilla and Aquila heard him, they took him aside and explained the way of God to him more accurately. Because of folks who claim insider information about God, on what basis do they know this? Religious fanatics corrected other religious fanatics, and so it has gone century after century. There are now more than 30,000 different Christian sects. That's a different version of Christianity for every single verse in the Bible. That's ridiculous. There hasn't been enough Christian curiosity to figure out how they got into this mess. They don't want to even deal with it, which is why we got to bring it to their attention. You're welcome. So, Luke did write apologetic historical fiction, aka fantasy literature, but he must also be recognized as a strident cult propagandist. In Luke 14:26, he wrote, claiming to quote Jesus, that hatred of family and even life itself was a requirement for being a disciple. Divided loyalties were not acceptable. And here in Acts 18, he depicts Jews as enemies of the Jesus sect. Luke's breakaway quote was the only right one, making comments that have been contributed to anti-Semitism, such as, when the Jews opposed and rivaled him in protest, he shook from the dust from his clothes and said to them, your blood be on your heads. I am innocent. From now on, I will go on to the Gentiles. End quote. And we have another one here. The Jews made a united attack on Paul and brought him before the tribunal. They said, this man persuading people to worship God in ways that are contrary to the law. For he powerfully refuted the Jews in public, showing that the scriptures that the Messiah is Jesus. If an all-knowing God had inspired these words, he might have foreseen the damage these verses would do in centuries to come. Let it be noted, by the way, that it's only through distorted Christian lens that the Old Testament has been used to prove that Jesus was a Messiah. Devout Jews know that you can find Jesus in the Old Testament only if that's your theological obsession. There are no texts in ancient scriptures that say the Messiah will be Jesus of Nazareth, and at a time when conquerors called Romans will dominate our land. Christian curiosity also should kick in here. How did the New Testament authors get away with this sleight of hand, misconstruing ancient texts to mean Jesus? Above all, however, Christian curiosity should kick in about words credited to Jesus himself. Acts 18 reports a few words that were claimed to be his. To assess these, a bit of digression is required. How do we know which of the real words of Jesus are actually real words of Jesus? Christians themselves rush to claim that Luke got it wrong when he reported the famous hate your family Jesus quote, but in fact, all Jesus quotes are suspect. Every last one of them. Just how could the authentic words of Jesus have been preserved? Look at any text in Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John with all of the authors and look at what they present as Jesus' script. When it was written down for the first time. For how long has it been since they had gone from word of mouth passing down to writing down, passing it down? And how many times was it told and retold probably dozens or hundreds of times before they wrote it down. We know how accurate that would be, right? You played the telephone game in kindergarten. Even after the Gospels had been written, they were copied by hand for centuries, and we know that thousands of errors were made. So, what are the chances that we have in our Bibles today the real, authentic, accurate words of Jesus? Most Bible scholars who create modern translations know about these problems, yet some of them want to encourage worship of the text on the belief that it is magically inspired by God. Hence, we find the practice of printing the words of Jesus in red. This is the case with my tattered version of the Bible I've had since I was a teenager, and with the New International Version on my Kindle. It's annoying because it's dishonest and misleading. But in Acts 18, the red ink is just downright silly. Here's a Jesus quote, not from a sermon he gave somewhere in Galilee, but as heard inside Paul's head. That's right, Paul was a crazy person that never met Jesus, but all you Christians follow Paul. Maybe not even that, but as imagined by the novelist, that it was imagined inside Paul's head. So Paul might not even be real. But nonetheless, here's the quote. One night the Lord spoke to Paul in a vision. You hear that part? In a vision. Don't be afraid. Keep on speaking. Do not be silent. For I am with you, and no one is going to attack you or harm you, because I have many people in this city. So Paul stayed in Corinth for 1.5 years, teaching them the word of God. Now, the red ink is meant as a guarantor that these are real words of Jesus. Here in Acts 18, the translators have lied. This is no surprise, since most New Testament scholars and translators are devout, even ordained, and thus are disposed to view the text as holy, even if not literally inspired. But the lie is not worth it. Faith bias is easier to deal with. Father Joseph Fitzmyer, monumental commentator on Acts, the Anchor Bible, Volume 31, is an amazing scholarly achievement. But his faith bias is a distraction. On some level, he takes these hallucinated Jesus words seriously. When Paul is assured of heavenly assistance in a dream, he stays on in Corinth for 1.5 years. Quote, thus the risen Christ encourages his chosen instrument for the evangelization of Gentiles in the important city of Corinth. The hyping of the Bible as Word of God has 2,000 years of momentum, and that only blunts curiosity. What's the point of questioning the product of inspiration? Which is yet more damage caused by faith bias. Christian lay people, the folks in the pews, need to step up their curiosity game. How about this? Every time they hear verses read from the pulpit, they should do follow-up research. Check out the results of scholarly inquiry and analysis, which, to no surprise, are not usually shared from the pulpit. So, much has been written about every chapter of the Bible by devout and secular scholars alike. Yes, Joseph Fitzmyer, Richard Carrier, and many more. So if you want to check out the books of these, I suggest that you do so. You can find the links at kwelikush.com. Just go to the search bar and type in Joseph Fitzmyer or Richard Carrier, and their books will come up. There are about at least 2 or 3 books that reference thousands of other works that are portals into the world of in-depth Bible analysis. But there is much, much more wrong with the Bible. Is anybody able to explain the cognitive dissonance that Christians go through when they read the Bible? Because I can't make sense of it. What y'all got? My whole thing about God writing the Bible is, why the hell would God write a book? Think about it. He's God, right? I mean, he controls everything in the universe. He knows everything. He knows you. Why the hell would God write a book? And then why would he come and deliver the book in a time where most of the world was illiterate, knowing that languages change over time, words change definition over time, and things get lost in translation? God would be smart enough to know this. So why would he write the Bible or inspire the Bible? Well, the answer is God wouldn't. He wouldn't do that. If there was a God, if there was a true God, he wouldn't be out here writing books and presenting them to ancient goat herders. It's just not God-like. That's not godly. It makes no sense. So yesterday, we had the pleasure of watching the Trump trial. So for all my black Christians out there, I would like to know, how do you reconcile your hatred for Trump with the fact that you both have the same religion? How does that compute in your brain? What does it feel like to know that your enemy and you are both worshiping the same imaginary sky daddy? Explain this to me. I know we got more Christians out there than just Mark. I'm almost 85% sure that Mark is a Poe. All right. Nonetheless, there are people out there that believe the dumb shit that he says. So we let him rock. But we still think you're a Poe, Mark. You're not fooling anybody. And if you're not a Poe, call in and prove me wrong. So what else we got going on in the world today? I want to do something that we never did on the show before, and we're going to talk about a couple of current events. So what's happening in the world as of February 14, 2021. New Atheist News. Y'all remember that old video of James Randi that he exposed the scam evangelist Peter Popoff making extremely specific predictions during a faith healing seminar, and Randy exposed how Popoff's wife was feeding him the details that the attendees filled out on the prayer cards that they received when they came to the church. So these sorts of tricks are still going on in the church today, and guess what? We got some examples of it. In 2021, they still tricking y'all. Sid Roth, host of a show called It's Supernatural, and the guy obsessed with how God is, quote, fixing his clogged toilet, last Thursday explained that one of his previous guests, Chris Reed, had made a very specific prediction about a woman in Kansas named Evelyn, whose grandson was in a car accident. Reed said that God would help her family. Roth's title for this video is "The Most Accurate Prophecy I've Ever Heard," with proof. So if you want to check it out, do so, but not right now. Wait till I finish talking. So, back in January, Chris Reed said this: "I just had a vision that came to me, and I believe that there's going to be someone that's going to be watching this broadcast. And I believe that this person lives in Kansas. Okay, I think it's a woman, and this woman's either her son or grandson was involved in a car accident in the last 2 or 3 months, and there were some injuries towards her grandson. I believe this woman's name is Evelyn, and I believe she's around 70 or 71 years old. And I believe that there is a Joshua, perhaps a David, or I want to say a Janice. I know this woman, I just see it. And the Lord is touching that grandson that was in that car accident, and the glory of God will result from this scary experience that had, because this grandson is going to come into an encounter with the Lord as a result. He's going to find the fear of the Lord, and he has a calling on his life. He's had calling on his life this whole time, and this experience he had is going to bring about and initiate a change in the spirit of repentance to come back into his life. I think there's an address. It's either a woman or the young man. It's like 1301 Fair Lane or Fairfield Lane, one of the two. I believe that this woman also is involved. I believe it's in childcare, some kind of child care or group home or something like that. But I believe a revival is coming to her and her family, and restoration of some relationships, and also the healing of this grandson at the beginning of a calling and a pursuit in his life for greater things of God. Now, this is all extremely specific. So either Reed is getting messages directly from some supernatural source and miracles are real, or he had a way to find this stuff out. What you think? Either way, after Ross played that clip from January episode of his show, he mentioned that the woman in question, Evelyn, was a real woman. Someone who knew her got in touch with her after hearing that episode and noticing the similarities. She was there for an interview. Isn't that incredible? Nah, it's not. Assuming that Evelyn wasn't in on the charade, and assuming that she never contacted the show with prayer requests, how could Reed have known all of these things about her? Well, we can answer that. In fact, yesterday, I tried finding out how much of the information was publicly accessible before Chris Reed taped that episode. Turns out, all of it. Exhibit A. Evelyn Isung likes Sid Ross' show on Facebook. Alright? Exhibit B. In December, she posted about her grandson's accident. She also commented that he had broken arms in 2 places. Also, if you Google her name, you will come across a website listing the address of the group daycare she runs. Ditto with her age. I can't prove Chris Reed sought out that information beforehand, but his miraculous prediction has perfectly natural explanation for anyone willing to look for it. Reed, of course, is using her story to build up his own prophetic ministry. Is Reed lying to everyone? I can't prove that. Is it possible he's lying to everyone? Hell the fuck yeah. It's an old trick. Real old trick, like 3-card money, repurposed for the age of Facebook. It only has Christian followers that are willing to accept it. So, looks like we got a caller on the line. Area code 682. What's your name and where you calling from? Say your name one more time for the people.
My name Ray.
Ray.
Yeah.
All right, Ray. What do you believe in and why, sir?
Well, I no longer believe in a Christianity or anything like that anymore. Well, basically, I was just calling. Well, I'll tell you the reason why. I called you guys one time before, probably like 2 weeks ago. Basically because I used to be raised as a minister, and just a lot of things I've seen in the church, and as I got to study for myself, the things that, they told me not to read and not to listen to, and I started listening to it and started opening my mind up to different perspectives and realizing everything that I believed in couldn't hold up to the truth. Basically, if a person come into wanting to take more knowledge, they got to understand, you got to come to these things with an open mind. You can't come in as if, you know the complete truth, when in reality, we all been taught lies all throughout history if you really are a researcher like that. But the first thing I want to say, I was looking in the comments, and I was seeing someone that was talking about they won't listen to someone that's unsaved and, all these different things like that. I see these things all the time. But I want to state this. If you read the Bible in Mark 24:12 and 14, if you don't mind, can I read it for a second?
Please.
Okay, and it said, that because of iniquity shall abound, and thy love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all of the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. You have these people that's talking about, they saved and all of this, but the Bible clearly says no one is saved until the end of time. No one is saved according to the Bible, which I don't believe in it no more. But this just goes to show you that a lot of people, they believe in things that they really don't understand. And with the guy named Stevie Wonder, he got this song called Superstition. You believe in things that you don't understand. And when you look at religion, this is what you see. And you really can't blame them because they don't understand the history, why these things were brought on and why we believe these things. A lot of these things we believe because of our ancestors, getting beat by a whip by the master. They don't understand the things that they had to endure. They hear about these things, but they don't understand how religion is attached to that. And basically it's like, the master, if you look at politics, you look at different things like that nowadays, you know what I'm saying? They basically teach us that we're going to get everything when we die while they're getting everything while they're living. And we constantly living with a poor mindset, man. Like we got to wait until we die to have anything. And that's just not the way to go. And when people don't believe what they believe, they become the aggressor. But yet when you start speaking facts, they start acting as if they are being persecuted. In the Christian religion, they are big on talking about, they're being persecuted. But yet, if you look at the airways, out of every other religion in the United States, pretty much all over the world, man, they got all the airways, they got radio stations, they got the biggest churches with none, don't have to pay taxes. You look on every block, you got a building there, you got a building here. They got the biggest freedom of speech than anybody, but yet they are quick to say they're being persecuted. But yet, and like this clip you was playing earlier about the atheist and the religious person, there's a lot of us that went through that. I went through that myself just recently, probably about 6 or 7 months ago.
You if you don't mind, can you tell us about it just for the sake of Valentine's Day?
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to make nobody famous or nothing like that. Just a brief explanation of what happened.
Okay. I had this situation, okay. This young lady I was dating at one point in time, she was homeless for like 12 years. So her family kicked her out in Missouri. So, I had my own crib, my own ride, everything like that. So, I was kind of feeling her at the time, and she was going through a bad situation. So instead of her being on the street, I just, she, how people talk when they want something, but then they don't come out with it. So, like, if you want to, you can just come, live with me or whatever until you get on your feet. Okay, right. She get here, I'll pay for a ticket. Excuse me?
Oh, no, I was just saying, right. You can go ahead.
Yeah. I paid for a ticket and everything to get here, and she had like 2 daughters, it was freezing cold, man. They was kicked out on the street. And so when she got here, she was very religious, and which I was at the time, I was in between not really knowing, more like an agnostic, and but at the same time respect everybody else's views, Mm-hmm. So when she finally realized, what my belief was, which we have already had these conversations one time before, and she was having some of the same beliefs, like, I don't really know, and I'm seeing all these things in religion. She was Israelite as well, and it's just so many things we're seeing that just wasn't lining up. So after a while, it became where she was kind of wavering back and forth, and then it became to a point where if you're not going to believe in God, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to believe in this, you're not going to believe in that, then we don't need to be together. But I'm like, it became so much, like, she became so aggressive, like, bro, it became a judgmental thing on that daily, bro. And that with me taking her and her kids off the street. She was so indulged in her religion to the point that she was willing to put her and her kids in a dangerous situation. So I just got fed up with it. I'm like, man, you just got to go, because I'm sticking my neck out. I'm going, I'm working, I'm taking care of the bills, taking care of everything or whatever. But yeah, here you go judging me because I got my mind open, saying possibility what we believe our whole life may not be true, you know. But it was at a point where she was calling other believers and different things like that, or putting negative stuff in her head and stuff like that, and it pretty much tore us apart. And this is something that you have to deal with, bro. Even though you as an unbeliever, you may have the patience for their belief, even if you're in a relationship with them. But in reality, that person that's in a religion, they have a religious mind, 9 times out of 10, bro, they're not going to be as patient with you as you are with them.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
And that's, yeah, bro. That's not just with relationships. That's with family members, that's with friends. You have people, they won't even talk to you anymore because when they find out that, you know, you just question what you've been taught. You know, why would God give you a brain and then expect you not to use it, man?
Yeah, man, I had to make that point to a lot of believers all the time. Like, if there really was a God, I think, like, you ever heard of Pascal's wager?
Say that again?
Have you ever heard of Pascal's wager?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, so I think atheism, to me, even though that's not my reason for being an atheist, is based off of logic and reasoning and actual thought. But if you wanted to be safe, I think atheism is the best Pascal's wager, because like you said, if there was a God, he made you, he made your brain, and you using it the way that he made it. And if you come to the conclusion that you don't have a good reason to believe that there is a God with the brain that was given to you, then whose fault is it really? So if God's going to send you to eternal damnation for using the brain that he gave you to use with the tools that your brain uses, logic and reason, then that God is an asshole, like the God that's depicted in the Bible that set the stage for Adam and Eve to sin. They didn't know what sin was, and then he punished them for sinning. Like, that's crazy. So anybody out there that's listening, if you don't know what Pascal's wager is, it's basically this guy named Pascal. He says you should believe in God, because if you don't believe in God and he's real, then you end up going to hell. But if you do believe in God and he's not real, well, then you just waste your time believing in God. It's not really a big deal. So he's saying the safest thing to do in that scenario is to go ahead and believe in God. But the problem with Pascal's wager is it doesn't solve the problem that it is presented for. Because what if you choose the wrong God? You in the same boat as the motherfucker who don't believe in God. So it fails still, because if you believe in Jesus and the God turns out to be Vishnu, well, you go to hell anyway. So like I said, the ultimate Pascal's wager is atheism. Go ahead.
I say it's not real love anyway.
Oh, definitely not. It's like putting a gun in your head saying love me or else.
Yeah, correct.
Worship me or else. But you mentioned that that you used to be a believer, so I know I'm not questioning your sincerity or anything. I just want to clarify for anybody that's listening that might be questioning their own beliefs, or they might be at that point that you were at when you were questioning your beliefs. What was what tipped the scale for you that made you say, okay, I ain't got to deal with this Bible. I know this is bullshit. Or did you have that moment?
Well, I guess what was the tipping point for me was I'm the type of guy, you know, I'm gonna go look for the contradiction. I'm not gonna run away from it. And I just got to a point where I just started looking up contradictions. I started studying it, and everything that said it was you said is a contradiction. You have a believer that comes and say, well, they start putting their own words into it. You know, even though they may have taught it a different way 1 minute, but then when you start coming up with contradictions they never heard before, they feel the need to protect a God that is supposed to be able to protect itself. So as I start questioning and I started looking at these different things and studying for myself, bro, I used to stay up from like sun up to sundown studying it, because when I first started researching, man, I started trying to prove that my religion was real and my belief was real. Like, you know, I just didn't want to let it go. So it got to a point where I started praying and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, I'm tired of praying, and I'm tired of saying that someone spoke to me. In reality, you know damn well nobody spoke to you, and you're just making up something in your head to try to justify what you believe. And I just got to a point, man, I just had to deal with reality, man. And like, I look at things in the world, like, you know, how things that happen in the world, how, you know, these kids starving and things like that, and dying and getting raped and stuff like that. But yeah, here you go, you see religious people over there about that God blessing them with cars and different things of that nature, as if God's so he's so put on as far as he care about your materialistic things more than he actually care about the life and well-being of little kids that have never made a decision whether they want to believe in this God or not, but were just born in a situation that they had no control over. And then, you know, I mean, it's just the exploitation of religion as a whole, man. The money situation, draining the communities and different things of that nature. You know, these things were just, I can't say it was just one thing that did it. It was a multitude of things that did it, man. Preachers that was well known in churches and different things, raping little kids and stuff like that. And plus, I never seen this guy that everybody say that talked to him. I was so religious to the point I used to say God talked to me too. I used to say that, you know, God did him, God did that. I was just like him. I was I was like a real believer, bro. I was sold out. Till, you know, I just got to a point, man, like, I got to be real with myself, because I don't want to raise my kids with the same mindset. And because if you look at most religious people nowadays, all they talk about is death. I can't wait till Jesus come. I can't wait till God come to end this and destroy this world and this and that. I mean, when you look at more people that are more awakened, they're more about living, about how can we change the future, how can we make the future better. And the most religious people, that's all they're talking about is death and waiting till Jesus come. And I mean, like, bro, like, I literally deal with that on a daily now with individuals that I'm close to. You know, it's just a lot of things that I got tired of. It was just like, to answer the question, it wasn't just one thing. It was multiple things, bro.
Yeah, man, I feel you. I kind of got the same sentiment. You know, it took me years, bro, like years to actually lose my belief altogether. I dropped out of the religion before I lost my belief in God, you know. I was still believing in God for like 9 years after I stopped believing in the Bible. So it took 9 years to go from the Bible is bullshit to maybe God is bullshit too. 9 years before I even started questioning the God thing. That's how deeply I was believing that there was a God. I took it for granted. I was like, well, of course there's a God, just like everybody else. You know, like I told this one lady I was an atheist, and I saw fear like just overtake her, and I'm like, what the hell is she scared of? You know what I'm saying? Like, you the one who's the psychopath who believe in shit that's not real. I should be scared of you. But she was just terrified.
Right.
And I know that she was terrified because in her mind, God is real. Just like God was real in my mind when I was a teenager. So somebody to tell you they don't believe in something that you think is obviously real, like it kind of throws. It's like if somebody tells you that I don't know, they think all people got pink blood and instead of red blood, and you be like, okay, this person throw it off a little bit. So she looking at me like I'm thrown off, but I look at them like they throw it off, all of them. You know, I don't care how much of a minority I'm in. At the end of the day, my position is based off of actual reason and logic, and the God claim is based off of bullshit, nothing, some that somebody told you, hearsay, you know.
Right.
So it don't matter if it's a million believers and one atheist. The atheist makes more sense than all of the believers.
Right. There are certain things, like even in the Bible, where it talks about, where, depending on what you believe, whether you call him Jesus or Yehoshua or Yahweh, depending on how you believe or whatever, but we'll let them debate the name. They talk about how his whole intention was, his whole existence was to be born to save Israel or whatever, right? And he already know this from birth of what his destiny going to be. All this bragging about who he is and what he's supposed to do and things like that, but yet when he get on the cross, well, I say the day before, he say a prayer about asking God to let this pass from him. And I'm like, okay, if you knew this what you was born for, and all this bragging about what you're supposed to be doing, why are you asking God to pass this cup away from you? Why are you asking him to not let you go through this if you're God in the flesh in the first place? This is what a lot of Christians believe, that Jesus is God in the flesh in the first place. But here you go, you got Jesus asking God to pass the cup away from him. Okay, then you get on the cross, he's crying about, why have thou forsaken me? Who are you talking to, number one? Are you supposed to be God wrapped in the flesh according to the Christian belief? And then on top of that, the Bible says Jesus gonna sit there on the right hand side of God. You know what I'm saying? In the Bible, it's just a whole bunch of things. If you open your mind and actually read the Bible, it's basically telling you is BS in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll say that.
You just got to be willing.
Reading the Bible accurately is the fastest way to become an atheist. But you got to read it for yourself. You can't have somebody read it to you. The problem is people have somebody read the Bible to them their whole life, and they think they reading the Bible. Because the way the preacher read the Bible, he gonna have his sermon already wrapped up, and then he gonna go to the Bible verses that prove his point. But he not gonna read them in order. He gonna bounce from one and then go cherry pick this one and that one and that one. But a lot of times, when you read them in order, you realize that the Bible's not saying the same thing that the preacher's saying at all. Joel Osteen is very good at doing that shit.
The motivational speaker.
Yeah, he I wouldn't even call him a motivational speaker. He's a televangelist. He just makes money preaching on TV, and his whole sermon is a commercial. Like, if you ever watch one of his sermons, I used to watch it when I was a believer. You know what I'm saying? He got a real feel good sermon that kind of uplifts you or whatever. So I used to watch it a lot, and I just noticed him and Creflo Dollar, they both do the same thing. Like every 5 minutes, they got a book. They selling a DVD. They passing out a collection plate. It's all about the money. You know what I'm saying? His church got robbed. And guess how much they got from one day of tithes? They got stolen from his church, $600,000 cash.
Yeah. Well, most people go and look at the. If most people go look in the Better Business Bureau, majority of the churches, probably supposed to be all of the churches, they are registered as businesses. That's all church is, a business, man. And that's how a lot of these televangelists are looking at it. They are looking at it, that's what it is. So it just, religion, I found out to be hypnosis. Because these are intelligent people that actually believe in this stuff, man. They intelligent in every other aspect of their life, but when it comes to religion, bro, it's like they're brainwashed to that. And that's part of the programming. It's to make you a sheep and make you, you not to come up against your rulers and masters and different things of that nature. It's just something that's been ingrained into us as a people since our ancestors, man. And it's going to take a long time in order for them to really start opening up, to this type of belief or logic, for a better word, no matter what, man, people just not ready for just straight out just say, I just don't believe in God, because, it's kind of like when your mother told you Santa Claus wasn't real at a certain age, or you find out from somebody else. It devastated you because you were looking forward to those gifts. you know. But same thing. God and Santa Claus is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many different levels to how indoctrination works, and I'm probably gonna end up doing this as a topic on the show next week of how indoctrination begins, because they do it when we children, you know what I'm saying? And just tell me what you think about the fact that 99% of all media that's geared towards children involves talking animals. And most people might look at that as mundane or innocent. I think it's very sinister, and they are training children whose brains aren't developed enough to discern what's real and what's not real. They training them to accept fairy tale bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You go to Six Flags and you see Bugs Bunny. Like a toddler can't differentiate a man in a suit from the actual Bugs Bunny. So then when they get a little bit older, 7 or 8, they start going to school, and you start going to Sunday school and church, and you introduce these concepts of Jesus to them. It don't seem so far-fetched, because they've been watching Scooby-Doo and goddamn Dora the Explorer and all these fantastical cartoons for the last 5 years of their whole life. So that when you introduce this religion to them, it's more easily digestible. The same thing that they did when they colonized Africa. They didn't just come in and be like, hey, this is the new religion. They had to mirror the religions of the people. So you had Serapis and all these other gods that were like a blending between the Greco-Roman gods and Egyptian gods. So I think that's kind of what the process of indoctrination is. And it looked like Brother Kwame just stepped into the building. Peace and Black Power. Kwame, what's happening?
Peace. What's up, family? What's good? What's good in the wood, man? New atheist experience on the rise, man.
What's
good, family? How y'all doing? I'm good, man. Just cold as hell, man. Shit, I need a woman next to me.
Yeah, I heard y'all had like a winter blast out there in Texas, man. What's going on?
Yeah, it's still going on, bro. I got a robe on. I got my damn hoodie on. I got two layers of pants on and 5 socks, bro. I'm telling you, it is cold as hell, boy. God ain't playing. But God ain't playing with us, is he? He's trying to freeze the atheists, man. What the fuck, nigga? Shit, God ain't playing, boy. Fuck God. Damn, nigga. Damn, nigga, turn the Earl, nigga. Shit. Tell God, hey, you Christian, tell God to turn the Earl.
Be burning us, Mark, man. Tell God to turn the heat up for my boy Kwame, man. It's freezing in Texas.
Yeah, man. Kweli, where the devil at, man? Put the heat on. Goddamn, where the fuck the devil at, man? Fuck.
When you need him.
I guess God, the devil has some eggnog right now. Hell yeah, but I believe God and the devil have some eggnog right now, laughing at us like, oh, I'm freezing them atheists. Them atheists need to stay cold for a little bit.
Oh, man.
In the summertime, here come the devil. Hey, you know, God, I'm finna turn the heat up. I guess God ain't pay his electric bill.
I hope they keep that weather in Texas, man, because it's cold in Georgia, but it ain't 7 degrees.
Shit, nigga, hey, man, look, man, it is, hey, my homeboy next door, man, what's your name, Anthony, right?
It's Ray.
Oh, Ray, oh, okay, 682, okay. Yeah. Man, God, please, God, a whole ass nigga. Huh?
You this plumbing, right?
Yeah. You know I'm at Fort Worth.
Yeah, that's me in Arlington.
Okay, cool. What's your name again, brother?
Ray.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, you see that shit that happened on 35, man, on the toll road?
Oh, yeah, man, I almost got in a wreck that same morning, bro. For sure.
Shit, I took 286. I took Mansfield Highway home, bro. I ain't even want to go down 35 to go home. I took Mansfield Highway to 820.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's definitely dangerous right now.
Yeah, you got a bitch for that shit, man. Damn, 6 people, man. Fuck God, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I do want to take a little bit of time real quick before we switch gears to thank all the people that donated to the show so far. We got Electric Kane made a donation, and Jacob, let me see what his last name is. if I can. Exploring Super Fictitious Minds donated $15.
Yes,
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Big Ray. Okay, appreciate the donation, brother.
Appreciate
No
it,
problem,
brother,
bro.
man. Black Power. Appreciate it.
And We the People super chatted $10. So we know every penny counts. We don't give a damn how much it is. We put all this money right back into the show. So everybody that contributed to the show, we appreciate y'all, man. And y'all gonna help us grow. We're gonna take this thing to the next level and hopefully wake America up, at least the Black Americans.
Yeah, for sure.
So Kwame, man, I don't know if you listened in or not. We was just talking about dating atheists for a little while. Ray gave us a little story of his experience, and I went over a little bit of some blunders in the Bible. So I don't know if you brought anything. You got any topics you want to talk about?
Yeah, man, I want to touch on that dating the atheist, man. Nigga like me single, bro. Like, man, we ain't got no but Christians down here. I talked to a Christian chick today, man. I talked to a Christian chick. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, hey, man, this girl asked me today, what's your church home? I said, at home. I said, because my church is my temple. She said, no, stop playing. What is your church home? I said, I just told you, bitch, at home. Like, what the fuck you mean? What's my church home? It's at the house right now. You know what I'm saying? And she thought, oh, so you don't believe in God? I said, I am God. What you talking about? Girl, I can come over your house right now and keep you warm. I'll drive all the way to Dallas right now. And she hung with my face. What, bitch, bye.
And she hung up on you?
Tell your brother. Say what?
I said she hung up on you?
Yeah, she hung up on me because she kept asking me about this fucking church home. I said, bitch, I'm at home right now. That's my church. It's the atheist church, bitch. What do you mean? I believe in God. I said, I am God. Yeah, man. What they talk about? Yeah, like, go ahead, brother. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, man, trying to date down here in the South, man, especially here in Texas, man. Like, God damn, bro, what is wrong with these women? But I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, man, they don't understand that they God even said in their Bible, believe that you are God.
The Bible do say that.
I'm sorry, when I get cold, I start yawning, bro. When I get cold, I'm like, shit, I'm so sorry about the yawning. But yeah, man, it like trying to date a Christian, bro. That's all we got here in the South. Man, I think I might have to move to like Ohio or New York or something.
Oh, definitely.
Because we don't need me a big bitch right now. If God bring me a big bitch right now, I'll start believing again. I'm playing. I start believing again. God bring me.
We gonna pray to the imaginary sky daddy that he bring Kwame a nice wolf monkey to sleep on, keep him warm in the winter, give him shade in the summer.
Hey man, a lot of y'all niggas that be
please send some soft legs, some real
please,
soft legs over to Texas.
Yeah, I want her to have more rolls than I want this. Hey God, hold on, God. I want this bitch to have more rolls than Wonder Bread for real. I am so for real. God damn. Hey, if y'all ain't checked out the podcast New Thug, man, please check that out. Oh, I got some homeboys. Oh, Israel tried to call me, and I told him to call him to the show. So Israel ain't called in. I think we don't even have no people to in the comment section. What is going on? I guess it is fucking cold.
It's Valentine's Day, man. Everybody got a hot date. They splacking.
Yeah. God told me. God. So I'm gonna turn the air on, y'all. So, goddamn, God got the air on right now. He forgot to pay that damn electric bill. Shit, or it's either air on or he forgot to pay the electric bill. His shit got turned off.
It was it was on the New Thug show that was trying to call in while we was on the New Thug show, and I had to explain to them the call-in show is on Sunday. The New Thug show is not a call-in show. It's partially scripted, so you can't. We don't do the audience participation. So the people that wanted to call in during the week, I told them to call in on Sunday. But I don't see any of those people. Likewise, it was two of them that was supposed to call today, but they ain't show up. But they'll see the video and they'll know they missed it, man. But Sunday is the day to call in, folks.
That part. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? To date an atheist, man. I mean, I'll be getting into it with the bigger brews. They say, well, if you believe in God, you know, if you have some kind of belief, you probably get a woman. So I need a belief to get a bitch for real. I mean, y'all crazy, man.
I mean,
why I need to,
like you dodging them, bro. Like you filtering out bad seed, you know what I mean? Because do you really want to be with a woman that got a closed mind like that? Like she can't ask herself, am I wrong? Is it possible that what I believe is wrong? Because I mean, we all three of us had to ask ourselves that question. And the answer
right about this, I don't give a fuck if the belief. I don't give a fuck if the bitch belief is wrong. Bitch, I need you to come lay with me real quick. Fuck that belief shit. I'm laying in this goddamn bed. Fuck your beliefs. Shit, let's keep each other warm.
You also got to ask yourself this question. I mean, who fill up like 80 to 90% of the churches in the first place is women. That's the one of the main reasons why the church surviving is because of mostly black women, bro. I mean, you got to expect the dating scene going to be, you know, a bunch of religious women, and half of those women in the churches, even though they, you know, they are in religion, you know, they doing everything outside of what they believe anyway. But you cannot be a person that don't believe in that particular religion, and they still have that mindset, bro. They can do everything under the sun, but if you don't believe in that religion or believe in that God, bro, look, hey. They were to go deal with some dude that's on the street that's a thug. I'm talking about like just out there just robbing and killing, dope boy type dude or whatever. Than a young, intelligent black man such as yourself, man. Before they deal with a person that don't believe in, you know, believe in God. So I mean, you got to expect that down south.
That's the sad truth, man.
The sad truth, but the hard reality, man. That's all it is. But see, the thing is, like you said, women, they don't even follow their own beliefs. They just want to believe because they're in love with the belief. They don't understand that their belief is only basically force fed to them. Black women in the South, man, they can go to the club. I'm sure a lot of women went to the Hideout in Arlington, or went to the Chrome Club in Fort Worth, or went to V Live in Dallas, and then the next morning they showed up the club with some damn tight ass skirts on and some shades because they've been drinking so goddamn much because that light is blinding their ass. You know what I'm saying? When they walk into church, they be the last one. Mm-hmm. They miss the collection plate and everything. Shit, because they ain't got no goddamn money. Shit. Bitches.
Facts.
Damn.
I got a question. It's kind of a little different from what we've been talking about. So, as far as atheism, how much racism have you guys faced in atheism in other race, maybe like whites or other race people or other different races? Have you guys faced any racism, or have you ever sensed any of that as far as being an atheist? Yeah.
From my personal experiences, I noticed the atheist community to be one of the most accepting of any community I've ever seen, and not as far as race, but gender identity, sexual orientation. I don't see too many atheists discriminating on anybody, and that's when I started researching atheism, and I wanted to like listen to those debates between like Richard Dawkins and other people and Bill Craig and all those religious debates. It was the openness and the acceptance of the atheists that made me go, why the hell are they more accepting than the religious folk when the religious folks supposed to be empowered by God? You know, so I haven't personally experienced any of that with the atheism thing. You know, it's always just been love for me. What about you, Kwame? he on mute right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I have not. I've experienced more. I've experienced more. Now I ain't got the big machine came over yet. God ain't blessed me yet. Shit, I'm under my covers. I'm putting my robe on. No, man. I haven't experienced any racism. Actually, I've experienced more acceptance because when I lived in Austin, I was a part of the ACA, and I was greatly accepted. There was no racism because when you're dealing with atheism, it throws away the division. Religion divides people. Atheism, I feel like, brings people together, whether they're black or white. Like when I first walked into the Free Thought Library in Austin, I was wildly excited. They said, "Hey man, put your name down. How you? Welcome to the atheist experience. Are you a Christian?" No. They're like, "Oh well, just put your name, man. We want to try to keep everybody because they figured out to eat everything, man. It was love, man. But you go to a Christian, man, they like to cook their food. I don't trust that shit, boy."
Yeah.
At least they take you out to eat. Go ahead.
I asked that question because someone came up with that excuse with me. They say all they dealt with was racism when they was trying to be accepting to other people of different races as far as atheism. But I'd never experienced it, but I have heard other people say it. So I don't know how, bad it is as far in the atheist community or the agnostic. But I haven't seen that dealing with people like Matt Delahunty and different things like that. I just never seen that in that type of community.
Yeah, I see the exact opposite. They, like I said, the atheist community is the most accepting community of all, even more so than the black communities that we have, like the so-called conscious community and the 5%ers and the Nation of Islam. They're not accepting to other races and all that stuff. Which, you know what I'm saying, being that black people had to go through what we had to go through, I can see why they had that rationale. But at the same time, we all humans, so if you know that we all got red blood and we all the same race and there's no such thing as race and all that shit, then all that shit is like fairy tale. It's divide and conquer, It's like I tell the story all the time. Like if y'all haven't noticed, my avatar is a lion. It's a lion for a reason because I really like lions. I think they're interesting or whatever. So basically, lions, the way that they structure their culture, they have a culture, and lions are individuals. They have personalities. So you can't say a lion will do this or a lion won't do that, because each lion is his own individual and he might do whatever the fuck he feel like doing at any given time. So the point is that I'm trying to make, though, at one point in time, it's a very famous lion pride because they were all males, and this is rare, very rare for lions because it's usually one male and a bunch of females. And a lion will kill another male lion cub, any male cub that's not his, because lions grow up very fast. So in about 3 years, a lion can go from a cub to a full-grown force to reckon with. And lions know this. So any male cub that's not theirs, they'll kill it. But these five male lions, they were actually brothers. This one female, she gave birth to these five lions. They were all brothers. And she didn't have no sisters, and the mother died. So the brothers was left on their own. These five lions, they grew up, man, they started kicking ass. I'm talking about they took over like the whole country. Every lion they saw, they was just killing them, and they was hunting as much as they want to hunt. They was kings in the lion country. You know what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making is the reason why they fell off is because one day, one of the lions had left the group. He was just kind of going off doing his own thing, and another group of male lions came and they jumped him and killed him. And one of his brothers came and tried to save him, and they killed him too. So then there was only 3 left of the super pack, and they all got picked off one by one. And the point is, as long as they stayed together, they was kings. The moment they separated, they was able to be conquered. And that's what religion is doing to us. And not just religion, but all types of aspects of society that tell you it's a us and a them mentality. Oh, you listen to rock and roll, I listen to rap. Or you white, I'm black. Or you gay, I'm straight. Or you a Christian, I'm a Muslim. All that shit is divide and conquer, while the people at the top, they don't believe in none of that shit. They just picking us off one by one, and that's why every time we have a leader step up, they get taken out of the game. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Y'all help me out. I'm forgetting the names, but y'all know who I'm talking about, man. Every time we have a real leader,
Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton,
all those people, man. Like we just get they get them easy pickings because we ain't got no unity. You know what I mean? So you ain't never gonna have no black unity while you got 15% of the black people saying, hey y'all, we want y'all all black people to be Hebrews, and then you got another 15% saying, hey y'all, we want y'all all to be 5%, or hey y'all, we want y'all all to be Nation of Islam, or hey y'all, we want y'all all to be Baptist. That's never gonna happen because you can't prove your shit. If you could prove that shit, then maybe it could happen. But the problem is you got this contradictory Bible that you're reading from, and it's just all hearsay, and then all y'all reading from the same book, and y'all disagreeing with each other. Maybe the book is causing all this fucking confusion. Y'all ain't figured this shit out yet. So until we get rid of all this shit, then we ain't never gonna be unified.
And I was talking to the the Hebrews. My bad. They have an issue with evolution, man, and they talking about, well, I got this dude named Munchies, man. He be on. I hope he watching, bro. I hope the nigga Munchies, because he talking about, well, the part I was watching with evolution, it just seemed like bullshit, man. So I'm okay with God creating man from dirt and a woman being made from a rib. That seems more plausible than damn evolution. So I'm like this Munchies. So how long did God take to do this goddamn surgery on Adam? It seemed like God was trying to do something. I guess God was the first surgeon, I guess, and shit.
Hey,
but he's talking about, exactly. He's like, why are we still evolving from the people, from the stuff that we came from? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see nothing. You still see a butterfly evolve from a caterpillar, but you don't see us evolving from the shit we came from. So it just sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. I'm like, dude, whatever we evolve from, we are the byproduct. I said, well, let me ask you something. Why don't we eat? Why isn't God still making people from dirt and women coming from ribs? Well, God only needs to do that one time, but evolution needs to do us one time.
People just don't.
Well, I think
go ahead, Rick.
I think a lot of the misunderstanding of the, this is the argument they'll bring up all the time. Where if man came from monkey, then why they're still monkey? But they don't understand what it's saying. Evolution is teaching not that men actually came from apes. It came from ape-like creatures, not actual apes. And they don't understand that. And they try to mix it in as if, we actually came from monkeys and apes and different things of that nature, because they're not willing to study that, and this is one of the things they taught. Right. And this is one of the things that really started making me question, like, preachers in the church, because they teach that kind of stuff over the pulpit. And when I heard a preacher say that, man, they used to get me really bothered. I'm like, that is not what evolution teaches. And you hear the churches going, amen, and just going off, and, it become like an atheist bashing type of sermon, and I'm like, but they don't even understand, and I wasn't even an atheist at the time. It was just me studying in different things, and I'm like, okay, now I know I gotta keep studying for myself, because this preacher and this pastor apostle obviously don't know what they're talking about. And that let me know how easy it is for people to become sheep and followers, because they rather be spoon-fed than actually going out there and do the hunting for themselves.
Exactly. And like, if you you just need to learn. That's why I like to stress critical thinking and free thinking, because I don't want nobody to believe me, because then you ain't no better than the religious motherfucker. You just believe in what somebody say. You supposed to have the tools in your brain to discern who's telling the truth or not, or who's more likely to be telling the truth or not. And as it pertains to evolution, anybody that say evolution is not true, they ain't studied it. Because there ain't no way you can study it and not understand it. It's true. It makes perfect sense, and it's got more evidence than any other field of science. Because we got fossil records, DNA records, all that shit. So what evolution is not one species turned into another. We didn't come from monkeys. Monkeys are our cousins in DNA wise. They are our cousins. So it's like,
Right.
if you got a cousin, if your mother has a sister, that's your auntie. If your auntie has a child, that's your cousin. You didn't come from your auntie, you didn't come from your cousin, but y'all are related. Because
Common ancestor.
Right.
ancestor. Your common ancestor is your grandmother, right? But you came from your
Right.
mother, and your cousin came from your auntie. But you have a common ancestor, and that's the same thing with monkeys and people. People, we came from probably some Australopithecine or some other ape-like humanoid that is no longer in existence because it's extinct. But the chimpanzees, they did very well in the environment that they were in, so they didn't have to change their structure, or I should say, their structure wasn't changed, because it's not like they're doing this intentionally. But their structure wasn't changed because they were surviving pretty well. The only reason humans evolved to have big brains and walk upright is because we weren't doing well as whatever species we evolved from in the environment that we were in, and we had to start spreading out, and that spreading out causes mutations, and those mutations that are beneficial then get selected for. And when we say selected for, what we mean is, if you are hairy and you move to a cold climate, you will probably do better than somebody who is not hairy, because you will be warmer. You dig what I'm saying? So then you pass those traits on to your offspring, and the ones who not surviving well, they probably not reproducing as much, and they end up dying off. So eventually you will have a population of all hairy animals that used to be mixed, used to be some hairy, some not. But now, because of the environment and the pressures of selection, natural pressures, they have evolved. That's what evolution is. It's common fucking sense. And the reason why you don't see it, is because of time. It takes millions of years. You're talking about something that happens at one reproductive rate at a time. So, like, for example, in humans, when we have a baby, we don't have exact copies of ourselves. You know, you have a child that looks like he's got 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth just like you, but it don't look just like you. It's slightly different. So each time you have a child or a generation, it's slightly different than the previous. So if you add up slightly different plus slightly different plus slightly different for about 4 billion years, what you get at the end is completely different than what you started with. It's just common fucking sense. If I start walking and I'm only moving 0.1 centimeter an hour, you might come back in a week and say, I ain't going nowhere. But you let me do that shit for 1 billion years, I guarantee you I'm gonna be far as fuck away from here at 0.1 centimeters an hour, because small increments over vast amounts of time equal big change. And if you don't understand that, then I can't really help you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people all the time, I don't debate evolution. I don't debate flat earth, because I feel like these are two things that anybody who take the time to study it can figure it out.
See what it is.
Right.
This not only that, these people know that evolution, and they knew evolution is a fact. They know that the earth is not round. What happens is, what we're dealing with is cognitive dissonance. They don't want to deal with the research, so they want you to try to prove evolution to them, because they're too fucking lazy to study it itself. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the dude Munchies and the Israelites and stuff had me really, like, when they said, wow, we're not evolving from, where's the part that we evolving from? Why is that no longer exist? I said, well, you gotta understand, we went through 7 extinction periods, and your God is pretty fucked up for that shit. You know, went to the Triassic extinction period, the Jurassic extinction period, and so on and so forth. So if your God,
0.9% of all species that ever lived are extinct now. This planet is if God exists, all he's doing is making animals so that they go extinct, it seems like, because all species end up going extinct at some point. And we get new species.
Exactly.
So if evolution ain't real, then where the hell all these new species come from that Adam ain't named? You know what I'm saying? He ain't named all them frogs in the Amazon. You know how many different species in the Amazon, bro? It's millions. Millions.
Yeah. Right.
So
God.
Before y'all, I'm gonna throw it to Ray after this. But on top of that, what they don't realize is evolution has nothing to do with the God claim, because even if you prove evolution false, because people like to bring up Charles Darwin, I'm sorry, because he was racist, right? Yeah, the nigga was a racist, but guess what? He was still right. I don't give a fuck if Satan himself show up right now and say 2 + 2 is 4. Guess what I'm gonna tell the nigga? You know what? You right, Satan. 2 + 2 is 4. So Charles Darwin was a racist, but he was also right about evolution. He might have used his racist views to misconstrue what he wrote, but after Charles Darwin died, he didn't know nothing about he didn't know nothing about DNA. After he died, we proved that he was right through DNA. So he can be as racist as he want to be. He was still right. And it don't got nothing to do with God. Because even if you prove that evolution is false, you still have not proven that God created shit. What you have to do is prove your claim, not disprove mine. You still have to prove yours. You can disprove evolution all day long, which you want. All it takes is one fossil out of place. One fossil out of fucking place. Like they say all the time, if we find a rabbit in the Precambrian period in the ground, all you gotta do is find a rabbit fossil, and all of evolution will be shut down. You'll win a Nobel Prize. That easy, but you can't do it. You know why? Because evolution is fucking true. So, and even if you could do it, you still have to prove that your God created man from dirt, or a woman out of a man's rib, and all that shit. Which is one of the reasons why I stopped believing in the Bible. When I realized that that story wasn't true, I was taking an advanced anatomy class in high school. My teacher was fine as hell, right? She had just graduated college. She was like 24. I'm a senior in high school. I'm like 18, so I'm like, shit, bitch, you can get it, bitch. And she was smart as fuck. And I'm trying to look smart to her, even though she was my teacher. I'm finna graduate next year. I'm like, shit, I'm coming back to bag this one. And I'm trying to show out like I'm smart in the class and shit. We was memorizing all the bones in the anatomy class, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, and actually, women got an extra rib. And she was like, no, they don't. And I was like, what? Yeah, they do, because the Bible says. She was like, yeah, that's not true. That's just a myth. And then, you know what I'm saying, I'm looking around for everybody to back me up. Like, come on, y'all back me up. And they was like, nigga, you dumb as hell. So I had to go home and do my fucking research, you know what I'm saying? I realized that women don't have an extra rib. And the Bible was just fucking full of shit. And I'm like, what the fuck else was I wrong about if I was wrong about this? But go ahead, Ray.
Right.
Go ahead, Ray. My bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
I was saying something else, but I got lost in what you were saying. But I will say this, you know, it's all good. Like we always say, that evolution science never claimed to know everything, while religion claimed to have the answers to everything. But the problem is, we just can't get around the fact is we never seen an empty leg or arm grow back. They can heal everything else, but for some reason they can never grow a leg or arm back. But yet miracles can be performed. But yet, if you look at science within itself, at least it offers a solution to be able to help the individual to be able to function better, to be able to move around better without a leg or arm, or even give it a substitute. But when it comes to religion, it you just SOL basically. So I mean, for these people that, you know, that's so deep down into the religions or whatever, I'm trying to find out why a person's leg or arm never grows back. That's the question I'm trying to get answered.
Exactly.
I ain't never heard a real answer to it.
Yeah. A lot of times, a lot of those things are basically done by what is that word I'm looking for? What it is, like Kim Copeland got exposed by his wife. I mean, with his wife. Kim Copeland got exposed with his wife because Kim Copeland would have an earpiece.
That's Papa.
In his ear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so his wife would tell him, oh yeah, we got Charlene that lives in Carrollton, Texas, and her husband died of something, and you might want to pray for her. So Ken Copeland would be like, is there a Charlene in the audience? Is there a Charlene? She just had a husband. I'm like, damn, dude, why you telling everybody business, man? What the fuck wrong with you? Shit. But yeah, man, they'll come and say, and she like, oh, Ken Copeland, I got this arthritis in my back. Boy, could you heal me? Oh, man, Miss Charlene got arthritis after her husband died. Let me touch her on the back and pray to God. And this ain't she healed. Well, nigga, why the fuck you ain't in there curing cancer and COVID-19? You sure can do the shit in the church, but you ain't at every hospital curing COVID-19 or whatever these people got.
And I don't see how these people that going to the church don't realize that. Like, nigga, if you can heal people, why aren't you in the hospital? What the hell are you thinking? What the hell you out here showing off? You gonna fix 1 or 2 people and pass around the collation plate? If you could really do that shit, nigga, take your ass to the hospital and heal everybody. But you can't.
The people in the hospital ain't gonna fake with you.
Yeah, because you know what, the hospital, like, you know, I went to check up. You know, I do my checkups and shit. They're like, is there a religious preference?
Damn, Kwame, you cut out, bro. He'll come back in. But yeah, man, that's actually that's Peter Popoff though, not Ken Copeland, Kwame. That's Peter Popoff. Ken Copeland, the scammer too though, but that was Peter Popoff with the earpiece and shit.
Yeah, I think his phone line might have froze.
No, man, I'm back, man. I accidentally hit the home button, and it basically kicks me back out.
Okay.
That's my fault. So it's like, I'm like this, like they still trying to congregate, talking about COVID-19 will not stop us from congregating here in Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah, y'all motherfuckers end up sick.
They gon' die.
Right.
Hey, what's that song? Trippie Redd? You gon' die. I'm gonna play that shit for all the Christians that have in church. You gon' die.
So, you know, I say that to say this, man, with me, because I ain't gonna lie, Ray, I mean, y'all, I'm about to move to Austin, Texas, because most of the women, black women down in Austin, they're atheists. Like, in the cities that have the most liberal cities have the most atheists, I would think, because I know Austin is full of atheists, because the ACA is down there, Matt Dunhunt is down there. I spoke to several black women that said, you know what, some of them say they believe in God, they're just not religious, and they don't care if I'm an atheist and nothing like that. They said that they're not, you know, never down there, but I come to Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth, it's like, you better believe in God or you're not going to get nobody. Your ass going to be sitting right here with your robe on and your sweater on and your hoodie on, and you're going to be in some N1 sweat with some damn house shoes on, cold. So y'all better believe in God. Y'all gonna be cold in the motherfucking morning. Shit. But yeah, man, that's what we dealing with, man. We dealing with cognitive dissonance because it's like and it's sad that the Noah's Ark story is more plausible than evolution.
All right, let me ask you something, just for fun. What would it take to convince you that God was real? Like what? Because I hear Christians ask atheists this all the time. So like what?
He will already know.
They gonna say, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Oh, so you want God to just come down and just show himself and say, I'm God, here I am.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to answer that question?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Okay, I'll answer the question. Okay, I'm pretty sure you might have heard this answer before. I mean, he will, if he know me so well, he will already know what it takes in order to get me to believe or to be able to see what he want me to see. We say he know all, he see all, he knew me before I was born, he know every hair on my head, he know all of this. If he really know all of that, that question shouldn't even be relevant.
He should just
got a whole ass nigga. My hair, I ain't got no hair on my head. God is a bitch, man. Fuck that nigga. Nigga took all my hair from my head. I gotta shave my shit every day. Fuck him. I got no pattern because
I will say this. I'm not so to the point where, you know, I'm like, okay, if he is real or whatever, I'm not gonna, if he proves himself, I'm not gonna still say, oh, well, he don't exist or this and that. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna have a lot of questions like, okay, where was you, you know, when our people were going through this, going through that? What was the purpose?
Right. In the same sense, okay, so let's say hypothetically God came down and showed you that he was real and it was the God of the Bible. Would you worship that God?
I didn't hear the question.
If God proved to you that he was real in the way they convinced you, okay, so now you know that God is real, and hypothetically if that happened, and it turned out that it was the God of the Bible, would you worship him?
I will believe he exists, but I don't know if I'll worship him because of the things that the Bible said that he's about.
True. I have the same sentiment. I think of course, if anything, you prove anything to me, I'm going to believe it if it's proven to me. I'm not closed-minded. You don't make your way to atheism by being closed-minded. You can't. So, of course, I would believe that God would be real. But like you said, I would have a lot of questions, and I definitely wouldn't worship, because any God that was worth worshiping wouldn't want you to worship him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want your kids to worship you. You know what I mean? That's some weird psychopath shit. You know what I mean? So
megalomaniacal shit, megalomaniac shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that the people that probably was on the bridge that in Fort Worth, they got killed, they believe in God. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember seeing the news and, well, you know, she's with God right now. I'm like, what?
That's what they say.
So you couldn't take them in their sleep.
Doug Stanhope, bro. Doug Stanhope is the. I mean, you'll be surprised at how the insight that comedians have, bro. They ain't just up there telling jokes. These motherfuckers doing seminars. But Doug Stanhope, he's a white comedian, hilarious. But he did that joke. He's like, man, if y'all think that your loved ones go to heaven when you die, what you crying about? What the hell you crying about? Like, you should be celebrating. Like, these motherfuckers just went to heaven. And I used to think like that when I was little too. But I thought that people were just selfish and they was crying because, oh, they can't see this person that they love anymore. They crying because they're sad. But really deep down, that's not why you crying. You crying because you know this motherfucker is dead. And that's it. Because if you really believe the shit that you say you believe, you would be rejoicing. Your child just went to heaven or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe that shit because you over there in pieces.
Yeah, that's the same thing. You know, I don't know if y'all remember that Moore, Oklahoma thing when the news after the Moore, Oklahoma thing happened with the tornadoes. It was a white woman and her baby. She said, well, don't you thank God for that you're safe? She said, oh, I'm an atheist. And that damn news lady, I don't know if y'all remember that. Y'all can look it up.
I didn't see.
After the tornado. Yeah, the lady was on like CB. Well, I guess it was CB or no, local news. And she said, don't you thank God for you being saved in the Moore, Oklahoma thing? She said, oh no, I'm an atheist. Real shit. All them Christians that died, but one atheist live. Come on, man. Man, it just boggles the mind because yeah, she was holding the baby. Yeah, white lady was holding the baby. She said, I'm an atheist. Like, what? Yeah. And this when I was a Christian, like okay, like that kind of got me too. I'm like, wait a minute, she's an atheist and she went through a horrible tornado in Moore, Oklahoma, and the lady was the newscaster was like, you thank God, right? She said, no, I'm an atheist.
Right. Man, you'd be surprised how many believers that I have talked to, and they have like logical questions. Like, they really, in the back of their mind, they don't believe what they believe, but they're afraid to come out or even question it because of the criticism that comes with it. Man, when it comes to religion, bro, it's like questioning anything, bro, that's grounds for crucifixion. You know, and you know, they will call me knowing I'm no longer a part of it. But then yet, when I was on social media and different things like that, and I was posting a lot of things, they would come in my inbox, asking me all these questions and saying, you know what, you right. But yet, when I posted on social media or something like that, they would never back me up when I got attacked. They would never say, you know, he got a point. They won't say none of that, bro. It's like they become part of the people that they're running from being criticized from. Like, bro, you were just in my inbox asking me, you're telling me I'm right about what I'm saying, but here you go, you laughing with the believers.
Mm-hmm. It's a crowd mentality, man. Like, if y'all ever seen that video, it's like a little social experiment that they did where they had like 10 people in the elevator all facing the wrong way, and then one person wasn't in on it, and they walk in the elevator, and most people turn around and face the wrong way too, just so they don't be the outcast. And even though
Yeah, I saw
It's
that.
just a ploy just to see what people are gonna do. So it just go to show you that motherfuckers will follow the crowd just so that they don't not be a part of it, even if they know this don't make no damn sense.
Yeah. Facts.
But that's what we got to get out of, man. We got to get out of that sheep-like mentality that religion has put us in, and start being real free thinkers. And I think that's what's gonna uplift the black community. You know what I'm saying? That's why I blame it too. If y'all notice on my channel, it's all about black power and atheism and free thinking, because in my personal opinion, that's what will rescue black Americans. If y'all let go of these superstitions and start thinking for yourself, all the other shit will start making so much more sense, and you let the bullshit go, and then we can actually unify. Because we ain't never gonna unify with these religions in a way. Even when we got people that's powerful like Farrakhan, some people not gonna follow him just because he a Muslim. So like, it's the religion that's separating us, man. I don't see how everybody don't see that.
Right.
Exactly. I just text Israel. I just text Israelite, Judah, and Munchies, which is they all. I called him in because he was asking me. He's the one that was asking me like where's where we evolved from. You know what I'm saying? He's really he said he watched the evolution video. He said it was bullshit. So that's why I left out, man. To tell the Israelites to call in. We'll see if they show up, because with Ray, you being a former Israelite, I'm pretty sure you can destroy them boys. Because I ain't gonna lie, man, it's just like, I don't know the Bible like them, but it's like they always use scriptures to solidify their argument, and they use that shit to, to try to yeah, go ahead, brother.
Let me tell you something about Israelite, bro. It's like, once you have a debate with majority of them, I'm not saying all of them because everybody's different, but I'm going to say majority of them. Once you start, the logic start really making what their logic, what they're trying to tell you, make it look crazy, and you clearly made a point that contradicts what they're saying, it becomes a battle of, now I'm about to call you dumb, I'm about to call you stupid, I'm about to talk about everything that don't have nothing to do with the subject. And it never fails. It always become an argument or something like that. Instead of, okay, if we really want the truth, don't try to defend what you believe, but let's speak the truth. And you speak what you believe, I'm gonna speak what I know as factual. And we're gonna look at it from a logical standpoint. If you really want to know the truth, no matter whether it contradicts what you believe or not, you're going to say, okay, you know what? I see your point. But you're not going to get that from an Israelite, bro. You're not going to get it. Now, every once in a while, you'll get something that's intelligent enough to have a decent conversation. But it's going to become a shouting battle. I promise you that. But I'm not going to shout.
Them boys right now on IMO, I just basically dropped my call and went into IMO and said, hey, y'all call in. We live right now. We're going to sit them boys on King Judah, Israelite, and then you got a female. She called herself Fear the Most High. I said, and I was having, they be saying Shalom. I said, how old is that word Shalom? They won't ever tell me. All right, Yahweh Shai. How old is that word?
Now,
how old is that?
You got to get all of your answers. Like if somebody asking you questions that's clearly not a history question or something. It's like something like, what do you think about this? And then you got to go get your answer from a book. You know, that's like somebody asking you, what's your favorite color? And you say, well, hold on, let me turn to Ephesians chapter 11. Nigga, what? I'm asking you, what's your favorite color? You can't get the answer from no book. But they don't understand that shit. They got to get everything that they think they know from this book, and that's why they don't know shit. Because they just regurgitating what the book say. You know, like y'all heard what happened with Black Jesus Minister?
Oh no.
Who?
Black Jesus Minister. He came on the show once, man. He He always be yelling and cussing at folk and shit. He a Hebrew, I think, or Christian one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Hey, no, this is what he is. He a comedic Hebrew Christian.
Man,
You know what he is.
I think that nigga was a poet. I really don't take that nigga seriously at all, bro. But I heard on Side Channel that he got caught with a little boy thing in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. But
On Side Channel?
yeah.
Ooh, he probably did. I don't know, man. I mean, when you look at Black Jesus Minister, he do like one of them dudes that drive a van and ride around the neighborhood in Houston. He do.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
That nigga got some pedophiles.
What happened now?
He allegedly got caught with a little boy's member in his mouth. A white boy.
Wow, man. I hope that
I hope it ain't either, but you know that nigga 4 hours away. He do like when he drives one of them white vans with the you know what I'm saying, with the little candy symbol on the side, and driving around Houston, Texas. Somebody y'all want a popsicle.
But he ain't getting no pussy. I can tell you that much. So I want to put.
Oh hell no! Bad Jesus Minister. I am the Kemetic. I am the Hebrew. I am the Christian. Oh, man, what the fuck, nigga? Do you smell what the rock is cooking, nigga? What is wrong with you, bro? Like, that's how he introduced himself. Hey, this nigga really love rapping.
He reminds me of most Israelites. So that's the way they come. That's the way they talk, bro. Man, when I heard that, man, I'm like, bro, this brother, like, he has to have some connection with the Israelites or something, because, bro, the way he was cussing, calling you guys dumb and stupid and this and that, like, bro, you here for a logical conversation or what? Like, that was horrific, man.
Yeah, you know that when he was on, he didn't say not one fact. All that nigga was doing was insulting us. That's why I let him go. I was like, you know, we gonna be every little whatever he called us, because all this is doing is showing the people that the religious person is acting a fool and the atheists are talking sense. So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't understand why would you come with that if you was trying to convince somebody that you got the truth. I mean, you think you gonna convince somebody by cussing them out, calling them all types of names? It's shit entertainment to me. But I appreciate you, man, for exposing your religion. But yeah, man, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they said.
And you know, some of the Israelites too. I was on IMO, because IMO is like an app where you can go in and do a video chat or whatever. And the Israelites, they love to hang out right there. But I just went on. Like I said, I hung up and just went in they live and said, call them to the show. Oh, we studying right now. Okay. If I come back, yeah, if I get back on that live, they're gonna be like looking for me. Where he at? Where Kwame at, man? Y'all gonna be looking for me? Y'all got me right here. We live, man. Yeah. But why the hell y'all wanna look for me now?
Live and on the schedule, man. These folks scared. I done tried to get preachers to come on here. They won't do it because I think they afraid that they can't argue with the facts. And most preachers, like, if you study the Bible, ain't no way you believe in that shit. You know, I don't understand that. Like, I forget that nigga name, man. But he a preacher that be on YouTube.
Oh yeah, the one that talking about we have free will. God didn't want to create robots. Well, my thing is, if God only makes you believe Him because you don't want to go to hell, ain't you a robot? He's trying to program you to not believe in Him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, ain't you a robot? Because wouldn't you be like, there was no like I don't know who asked. I think Kweli asked him the question. Asked Mark the question: if there was no such thing as God or beliefs or hell, would you still believe in God or whatever? What did he say? He said no, he wouldn't believe it.
I said if there was no hell, if there was no such thing as hell, would you still follow God? He said no. So you believe in that shit just out of fear of something that you haven't even proven. That's like somebody coming to you saying, hey man, you gotta come with us right now, your house on fire. And you like, what? I don't see no fire, I don't smell no smoke. And they're like, yeah, you can't see it. It's immaterial, but it's there, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna burn up if you don't get out your house right now. You like I would get out my house if it was on fire, but I don't see the evidence of the fire. I'm just supposed to take your word for it and leave my fucking house. That's what religion is doing. I'm telling you, hey man, you're gonna burn forever,
right? If
you don't follow my religion. And I'm like, burn where? Oh, in hell. Where is this hell? Oh, after
yeah, where's it located? I got a brochure.
What the fuck? Like, this makes no sense. You gotta prove that the hell exists, and then maybe we'll be afraid of it. But we can't be afraid of something that's not real. So I told Mark that he was he dipped out.
Yeah, he is a Poe. That's why I asked you the first show when he came out. I said, "Are you a Poe?" He said, "No, I'm taking it seriously." I'm like, "Okay, you really taking this bullshit seriously?" Okay. Yeah, and here's another thing, man. Christians like to sound like abused wives. I was in the video you sent me with that black pastor that you said won't call in.
It's because they are, bro. They are. And they are the bride of Christ. The bride of Christ. Mentally they are.
That part.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good, man. I mean, it's the truth. It is the fucking truth, man, because these dudes, God gave us free will. So would you give your wife free will to go out, but then if she goes out and she comes back, she's gonna get beat, right? So what's gonna happen to your wife? She's not gonna ever want to go out if she knows that the end result is her getting her ass whooped because she went out. You go to your wife like, baby, yeah, you can go out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love for you to go out, put on your makeup, wear the sexiest thing. You can go out and go out, have fun. You come back at 6 o'clock in the morning. So your wife come back at 6 o'clock in the morning, she gets the ass whooped. Is she gonna want to go out again? No.
Yeah, so that's not really free will.
So there's no such thing as free will.
Yeah.
How you have free will?
Anything that have a consequence behind it. I mean, you obviously you don't have free will, you know. So I mean, that's just as simple as that.
And on top of that, if God is supposed to be all knowing, then you still don't have free will, because that means everything is predetermined, because God already know everything. He know how long you stay in this room and all that. So how is that free will?
And I even pointed to a Bible verse, Ephesians 1:11. God, we are all predestined to do the will of God. You know, I did that. You know what I'm saying? And then I even had Mark read it. We're all in Ephesians 1:11. So if it's God, was it God's plan for that wreck to happen on I-35? I want a Christian to answer that question. If it was God's plan, then those people had they had no choice.
Mm-hmm. I had that problem with religious people all the time when I ask them like, how do you reconcile the fact that babies are stillborn, children starve to death or die from diseases that are preventable and shit like that. Like, how do you reconcile that with your belief that God is in control of all of this? So basically what you're saying is that's what God made happen. So God made some lady have a stillborn baby. For what? What's the purpose of that? What? Well,
God wants to show His power. That's what it is. God wants to show His power. He wants to show that He exists by killing kids. He wants to show He exists by creating cancer.
That's idiotic.
Well, first of all, the Bible clearly says that God created evil.
It does.
If all things was good in the beginning, and then it turns around and said that God created evil, then the very thing that He created is really the cause of why things are going the way it is. So is it really the creation fault for falling for something that He created? You know what I'm saying? Let's just even stick with Satan himself. Satan is something that ancient that's seen the face of God. So how could something as a human being that don't know nothing, don't know the difference between good and evil, be able to outsmart something that's that ancient and with the knowledge that it has and be actually punished when they don't even know no difference between what it's doing is good or bad? It don't even have the knowledge of it. God the one created evil in the first place, so I mean, it shouldn't be on Him.
Right. Hey, Kweli, I don't know if you can upload that video you sent me, but the one you sent me about that preacher about free will and why God won't create, why God won't destroy what He like Satan and shit. Shit, if you can upload that video, shit, that'll give us something to look at, and try to analyze.
I already put it on the show last week. I put like a little clip of it because I ain't want to. Cause I reached out to the brother and he didn't want to come on the show. So I ain't want to play the whole clip, and then I would have had to go through the copyright process with him and all that shit. So I just kind of clipped it up and played what they allowed me to play. And it's really all that matter anyway, because he had 6 premises, and the first one was bullshit. So we ain't got to go through the next two through six. Cause the first one don't add up. And the first one was
the first
about
one,
the robots.
Yeah. Then the second one was free will, and that failed too. That argument failed on its face. Shit. Because if you have free will, shouldn't I be? Why should I have a consequence behind my free will to worship you or not? If we're not robots. So basically, premise two kills premise one as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
then he's saying that, he's saying we the question was, why did God create Satan? His answer is, God didn't create Satan. God created Lucifer, and Lucifer has free will. And you still missing the point, brother. If God is all knowing, then that means he knew that Lucifer would turn into Satan, and he did create Lucifer. So what the fuck? I don't understand.
That's a play with words. It's a play with words. It's a play of words just to keep from acknowledging what's being said. Of course, we know that Satan means the accuser. We already know that. It just, when you say these things, they look for loopholes to try to make it look like you don't know what you're talking about. When in reality, what we're saying, we're not trying to go in depth what every single word means. You know exactly what we mean. I mean, come on. I mean, these are the things that cause division in the first place when you're trying to talk logical. And here you go trying to play with words. And then when we start throwing logic down, then all of a sudden the believer becomes the one that acting like they're being persecuted all of a sudden. Like, we're trying to have a logical conversation.
Oh, why won't you just let me believe what I want to believe?
Right.
Because, man, what you believe, like in my state, I can't buy beer on Sunday. Why? Because it's your Sabbath, and it ain't even the right day. It's supposed to be on Saturday.
Man, that sucks, bro. See, I could live in your state. Now, I was gonna move down there, bro, but now that you told me that, now fuck that.
And you know what? I don't even drink like that, but you know what I'm saying? It just pissed me off because you infringing upon my freedom. So it's like, what's the fuck? If I can't buy a beer on Sunday, right? But I can buy a beer all day Saturday. That means I can buy as many beer I want on Saturday and just drink them on Sunday. So you ain't stopped shit. It's a dumbass law. But these folks so stupid, man. Like,
yeah, I don't drink beer. I drink liquor, so
it blows my mind.
But it's just like someone come to your page, right? Your show, and they got all these things. They're saying, well, let me be who I want to be and this and that. Well, all right, cool, no problem. Be who you want to be. But just know that what you believe ain't going to stop what we're saying. But use that same logic. If you as an atheist, you go to their church and say, okay, no matter what you preach, I'm going to believe what I want to believe. Do you think for 1 second that preacher, apostle, pastor, whatever it is not going to point you out in that church? He's not going to respect your wishes as you being what you want to believe. He's going to make all kind of sermons to preach at you, your belief and different things. That's what these preachers do. They instigate over the pulpit. But yet they'll come on your show and tell you they're going to believe what they want to believe or whatever. If you're going to believe what you want to believe, why come on the show in the first place? Obviously there's something that, that's BS in the first place, or, something got your mind. You want to hear this stuff. It's just your mind plays tricks on you.
Man, I think they trying to hold on to their own belief, so they got to do all these mental gymnastics and go through all this cognitive dissonance, and then they do the improper research and they fall victim to confirmation bias, and they come back with the same bullshit that they started with, even though you ain't presenting them with nothing but facts. And sometimes some people can't be reached. I realize that in doing this YouTube thing, man. Some people are just a lost cause. You ain't never gonna get through to them. It's almost like trying to get somebody to stop smoking. If they don't want to stop smoking, you wasting your time. They gotta want to stop. You know what I'm saying? They got to be trying to stop. But if they ain't trying, and you trying to get them to stop smoking, you might as well smoke for them, because it ain't gonna happen. So if we trying to get people to start thinking and stop believing, sometimes it ain't gonna happen. They got to want it first. So you got to want the truth. So that's why a lot of times I ask people, like, do you even care if your belief is true or not, because if you don't care if it's true or not, then I'm wasting my time talking to you. I only want to talk to people that care about the truth. If you want to believe what you believe, then piss off. Because if you want to know the truth, then we can get to it. Because at the end of the day, I might be wrong about some shit. I've been wrong before. That's how I know I'm right now, because I was wrong before. So I know what it feels like to be wrong. It ain't a bad thing, but you know what I'm saying? People look at it as a bad thing. They don't want to be wrong. But when you be wrong, that's when you get right, because you get cleared after that. Somebody tell you, nah, that's not right. Actually, it's like this, and then you got to go through the thought process. Then you got to argue with them, and they going to show you why you was wrong, if you was really wrong. So, like, if you don't care if you wrong or not, like you said, what are you even here for? Like, what are you even involved in the conversation for? That's crazy. That's indoctrination. That's a proselytizing and indoctrination right there. These folks just want to come and preach their shit. They don't want to get to the truth of the matter.
Right.
Yeah, man. But if we don't got any more callers, it is Valentine's Day, and you know what I'm saying. I hope Kwame gonna find a nice BBW to lay up with, keep him warm, cause I got him some soft legs I'm about to holler at. So, y'all got anything y'all want to say before we head out of here?
Well, I will say this before we leave. A little situation that happened to me like last week with some believers, right? And some believers I told you guys last time when I called, I used to go to this church and I was raised to be a preacher. So I haven't seen these people like 9-10 years, man. And somehow last week, my stepdaughter, she lives in Louisiana. So she called me, and her mother-in-law called my wife, and they were like, well, we heard something, you know, and they was telling her that some woman that I used to date was saying that I touched her daughter, and you know, just making up all kind of malicious lies on me, man. Like, I'm like, okay, who's the woman? Because these people don't know anybody who I dated or whatever, right? So the situation is the woman that I'm dating used to used to date someone in that church or whatever, and they felt some kind of way about it. I don't know the whole situation, but anyway, because of what they didn't like about her, they started putting my name out, don't even know anything about me. So one of the guys, he was a grown guy, and there was like two other kids that was saying something about, oh, he's a molester or whatever. Never heard a kid in my life. Never will hurt a kid in my life. You know what I'm saying? If I find anyone, I don't care if a kid don't belong to me, I would actually jump in and probably risk my life to save a kid. So I'm saying, like, why are they putting my name in this situation? Why are they saying this crap about me, you know? It kind of hurt me for a second, bro, because the people that were saying it, I looked at them like my family. But because I no longer believe in what they believe, they was willing to make up those kind of lies on me. So I actually called one of the grown people, a guy that I knew that was talking to a kid and said that. And I asked him the question or whatever. He going off. He started cussing like he in the streets. Oh, y'all don't F with me and this and that. Oh, F you and all that. Now, I'm like, these people go to church every Sunday. You cannot say anything against their religion. Not only for one, you lie on me. Number two, I haven't seen you in 10 years. Number three, there's no woman that even saying that, because there's no woman that ever had a problem with me like that. So all of a sudden it got to a point where guy was starting to be, threatened and all that kind of stuff. So I'm at this point like, now, okay, now you got my energy up. So my wife was talking to me and my mom called me to calm me down. Like, they're really just exposing themselves, and I'm saying this because whoever may be a believer that's listening to this podcast, just because someone say they don't believe in your religion, don't mean they evil, don't mean they're more, they'll kill you, or we're murderers, or we're child molesters, or this and that. And I know all the things that they say about a lot of people that they perceive as atheists or say they are atheists or whatever, you know, we're not bad people. And believe it or not, the people that's in your belief are actually worse than people that don't believe what you believe. You know, they make up malicious lies on people that they, for no reason, anything to destroy your character to keep people from listening to you. You know, I had to deal with that, man, and, you know, I haven't dealt with church in like 10 years, man. I'm like, bro, why is my name still in these people's mouth? I tell you why. The reason why is because you guys probably haven't heard, you may have heard my name. I went by Razor Johnson on social media. And like I said, my page and different things, I was on Instagram, I was on Facebook. They had my page, my Instagram, they had it all taken off.
Hey, we got a caller. Hey, we got a caller, 313. We got a call. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off, Ray. But we got a caller.
Oh, go ahead.
313, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Fellas, my name's Kamal. I'm calling from Alabama, but I'm born and raised in Detroit. That's why it's 313. But I live in Alabama now. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all this right now, man. My heart. I don't know how I found y'all. I'm being honest. I don't know how. I was just, you know how you get on YouTube and you go down the rabbit hole and you just get to finding shit. You know what I'm saying? And there y'all was, man. I heard y'all talking. I saw it was live, and I said, "Atheist, what?" And then I listened to y'all. I'm like, "Wait a minute, is these brothers talking like that?" Because I felt so alone out this bitch, man. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I felt like I was by myself out here. I don't know too many black atheists. I don't know any until you dig. You know what I'm saying? And the things I was going through with my family when I finally. I don't know, man. It just kind of came out. I think my brother said something to the fact that I'm give y'all a little background on me. I'm a vet, man. I was wounded in combat, and I'm a T11 paraplegic, and I am in a wheelchair. And no, brother, life is good. I'm
a vet too, man. I got a crushed foot, so I got a crushed right foot, man, from a Bradley, bro. So.
Oh yeah.
You're speaking to another vet.
I was in EOB and you know, we found bombs for a living, you know what I'm saying? So shit was funky, you know, and maybe one day we can get off into that, and I can give you some more game on that. But I'm the oldest in my family, man, and I joined the service to help my mom. I'm 49, I'll be 49 in June. I was 18 when I went, you know what I'm saying? And my mom was taking care of 4 kids, and it was hard on her. So I had to get out and I was a man at a young age. You know what I'm saying? I would go out and shovel snow and rake leaves and cut grass just to take care of my mom. Make sure she was good, because she worked at them 2 diners. And can you imagine how much they was paying back then at them diners? Mm-hmm. I used to wonder why. I never blamed God for anything. I've never said God is the reason why there's starving children, or I was never into that. I kind of understood that man is causing these problems in different countries. I started to understand that at a young age, and listening to my grandfather. And by the way, man, my first name is Kwame Nkrumah. So I dig that name. When I heard the name Kwame, that was kind of cool to hear another brother with that name. But
what's up, bro?
It was funky, man. When I told my brother, he said something to the effect that, you know, God put you in that wheelchair for a reason. And I got really pissed off. Like, why would God put me in a wheelchair, bro? Answer me that question. And he couldn't answer it. Well, he was trying to say, well, I had a message. I had something to you know how they do. You in that situation to have a what do they call it? A testimony.
Revelation. I mean, a testimony. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just came out, man. I just like, man, I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in no God, man. I don't. And my brother paused. Now, this is my youngest brother. I'm the oldest, again. And he paused and he hung up on me. He hung the phone up on me. The next thing you know, I get a phone call again, and I got 2 people on the phone, my other brother. What's this? I hear you don't believe in God. Now, they chastising me like I'm a child, bro. This is what really blew my mind. They chastising me. Do you know how grandma would feel if she found out you didn't believe in God? I say, hold on. I got quiet because I couldn't believe that they was coming at me like this. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm still the same person I was that took care of y'all asses, that most of the fights I've ever had in my life came from taking care of y'all's asses or fighting for my sister because the little boys want to pull her hair in that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like an outcast in my family, man. I felt like I was like, bro, have you ever been in a room and you knew people was talking about you and right there while you was there?
I mean, that's how I lost a few friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can just walk in the room and be like, "Oh, y'all was just talking about me," and y'all ain't gonna say what y'all was saying.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I felt at my family reunion, man. I felt like I was being talked about while I was in the room and getting the evil eye from my people, and I'm like, and it just hurt me so bad, man. I'm sorry, y'all. It just hurt me so bad, man, that I didn't want to talk to my people. I didn't want to talk to them as much as I love them. And then when they found out my son was an atheist also, guess whose fault that was? You know what I'm saying? You done told him this, you done told him that. And the mother of my son would say, well, he looks up to you and all of that, and he's doing that because you need to tell him. I'm like, I want my son to think for himself. What's wrong with that? You dig? What's wrong with him using his own mind, and whether he wanted to be a Christian or not? What's wrong? I'm not going to force him to do anything. I want him to investigate and find out what he believes and what he doesn't believe. Now, I'm going to be there for him when he asks me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to bullshit him. I'm going to tell him the truth. I'm going to tell him exactly how I feel about certain things.
That's right.
And I just felt alone, brother. I can't put it in any other words, man. And I don't know if y'all heard of the ACA, the Atheist Community of Austin.
Yeah, I used to live in Austin. I'm from there.
That's where we got the idea for this show from.
My man was a dude named Dragnot and my man Matt Dillahunty.
Right.
They were there for me. I just happened to call the show, man. Because like I said, I was in a low place, bro. My people wasn't talking to me. They wouldn't answer my calls and shit. And I felt in a low place. Now, y'all know it's different talking to white folks than talking to the way we talk compared to talking to white folks. Now, I love talking to them. I know Matt personally, I know, but it still felt different than talking to my brothers. And even though I consider that man a brother, and I consider Drag a brother because they was there for me when I needed them.
Yeah, and they know this, like especially Matt and them. They know that it's different. There's a difference in the mainstream atheist community and the black atheist community, because Christianity is different in the black community. Christianity in the black community is coupled with slavery, so
exactly
it's more ingrained into the minds of the people. So it's almost like Matt Dillahunty. It's not that he can't tell you, but it's not his place to address certain issues.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you didn't.
Right, because he don't know about it.
Yeah, you're not part of the diaspora.
Right. Well, I'll take that. I'm not gonna say you don't know about it. I'm sorry, brother.
I was just saying.
No, I was gonna say.
Go ahead, Kwame.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I used to go to Star of India. I was a part of the ACA. I was part of the crew down there in Austin with ACA with Eric and Talk Heathens and all that. So I did all that.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I used to live in Austin. I used to live in South Austin off of William Cannon. I used to live over there by William Cannon.
Yeah, I've been invited down there.
With your family?
Yeah, how did it work out?
Did you get better? Did it get better?
Most definitely, because this was going on 2 years ago. So, and this was around Christmas at that. And I thought I was gonna, I thought they were gonna invite me home and all this. And I'm ready to. Got my Jeep packed up and everything. And I was told not to come home, bro. It got so fucked up, man. My aunt called me a demon. I've been called a murderer. You know what I'm saying, for certain reasons. And it was I've always been told to shut up. Don't ask questions like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't. I used to talk to in Detroit. I used to go to this what was the name of that church? His name was Kevin Butler, and Word of Faith. I used to go to their youth ministry in Detroit. And I would sit there and I would ask questions, man, and I never would get a straight up answer. I would always be told to just have faith. You need to have faith and stop asking so many questions. And that was the shit I couldn't handle. You know what I'm saying? That was the thing I couldn't do.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it got to a point where, we got back to talking to each other, and it's with certain people in my family I don't really want to talk to because I'm still going to hell as far as my aunt's concerned, and my cousin because he's a pastor, and they don't talk to me. They don't talk to me at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the devil in their eyes. I don't understand this bullshit that just because we don't believe the shit that y'all believe, that we are somehow bad, that we don't have morals, and that type of shit. I don't understand that, brother. I really don't.
It's indoctrination. I don't think they really believe that either. They just been trained to think that way. Because I've heard that from my family members, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you the devil. And we wasn't even talking about religion. We was talking about flat earth. You know what I'm saying? And they called me the devil.
Wow.
And that shit, I ain't never really had my feelings hurt, but when they called me the devil, even though I don't believe in that shit hurt my fucking feelings. Because it's like, that's what you really think about me after everything. You think I'm the worst motherfucker in the universe? Because I don't believe in your shit?
Yep. And that's how I felt, man. That's how, and again, like I said, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, man. When I was talking to Eric, on Talk Heathen, and I called him, and it was him and her name is V. I think that's his lady. And
V. It's V. Yeah, she's like 4'11". I remember them.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think she they are non-binary. They prefer to be called they.
Yeah, they for sure. And so I just happened to call the show. I don't know what made me do it, man. And when I got to the part, my family was an hour away from me in Columbus, Georgia, and I'm right down here near Dothan, Alabama. And they were an hour away from me, and this was Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken. And they was telling me that they was coming to see me, and I went and got cooked and got drinks and spirits, and I was ready to see him because I was so happy to see him because I hadn't seen him in a while, and they never showed up. And so when I called the show, man, I actually broke down, bro. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I think we sometimes we tell our men that we're not supposed to have feelings, and fuck that. We ain't supposed to cry. We supposed to suck it up. Well, that's bullshit. If it hurt,
it is, because you know what? Because I don't know if you heard about the Manosphere on YouTube. I'm part of them too. I'm part of that YouTube group too. The Manosphere, where we talk about alpha, beta, and sigma male. So I'm part of that too.
I never.
So so check us out, man. I'm part of the Manosphere as well. So we talk about relationships and shit like that. So, but go ahead and finish the story, man. But like I said, what you were saying, that's why men, when we fall in love. We fall in love and we lose a woman to another man. That's why we become overly jealous, because that release of the release of dopamine that we're not getting from that woman, it makes us crazy. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
Right. Yeah, and so they didn't want to come and see me, and I called the show and I told Eric, and I was talking to Eric and V, man, and I said something to the fact that I want to say fuck my family, but I love them, and I just broke down, bro, and it broke my heart. It had me. I was kind of embarrassed, you know what I'm saying? Because that, I was always had that, that mentality. We ain't supposed to cry in front of motherfuckers and that's how I felt. But they showed me love, man. They really did. They were there for me. They're like, Eric called me personally. We talked on the phone, and he told me some of the things he was going through, and it helped me over the last 2 years. It helped me, and the other thing was, I lost my dog. I know this may sound crazy to some people, but I lost my dog around the same time, and I loved that dog, man. And I never knew I could love a dog the way I love that dog. And all this was happening at the same time. My family turning back on me. I lost a dog that I love. And I thought God was doing this to me. I really did. And that's when I called the show, man. And I was able to, get with some people and talk to them, and they really helped me through it, man. And I decided to go see. I had other things that I hadn't dealt with also, as far as the places I've been and the things I've had to do, Iraq and Afghanistan, and I thought I dealt with it, but I really didn't. And it was so bold, man. It was so bad that I checked myself into the hospital, man. And but it was a good thing. It was the best thing I did. And now, I talk to my therapist every Thursday, and it's great, brother. It really is. But the best thing I think that has happened in the last, I'll run into you guys, and I would just sit back and listen to y'all show. I wouldn't comment or nothing like that, but I would just sit back and listen. And I was like, I gotta go holler at them. I gotta chop it up with these dudes, man, because they seem like some real dudes. And that's what I wanted. That's what I needed. I needed some people who I could chop it up with, who understood me. You dig what I'm saying?
Exactly. I'm glad you found the show, man. That's why we made this show, bro. For everybody like you and me, we all the same. We all kind of been through some persecution. I hate to use that word, but the Christians like to cry persecution, but we all been through it. You know what I'm saying? From people that's supposedly supposed to be professing love for us, all because of this lack of belief in something that. And I go out on a limb and say that it's not true. I know most atheists just simply lack of belief, but I tend to take the anti-theist approach most of the time and say that it's all bullshit. And I make that claim, and I think I can back it up too. Go ahead, Don.
I call it the crazy part. The crazy part is this. The crazy part is this. Okay, most people like to say that non-believers or whatever don't have any feelings, or how can you feel if some of you don't believe in God or someone else? But yet, these cowards will come into the comment section and just troll and not seeing that a person is actually hurt, because religion itself, it does something to the mental. If your mind is not open, you wouldn't understand that, because you are a sheep. You can get in the comments, you can do all that talking and talking about Jesus love you and all this, but your religion is supposed to be about love. But here you go in the comments making fun of a brother that's trying to tell his story of why he believes what he believes. But here you go being a coward.
Right.
But you're supposed to share your religion and your belief to try to draw people closer, but yet you're in the comments talking noise. Reason why is because the one that you believe in can't do it for you. He has to use you.
Yep.
So you wonder why people walking away? You wonder why people walking away? Because of people like you.
That's why we leave them right there. That's why we let them come in.
Do y'all know that dude?
Every man, it seems like every man speaks for God, but God never speaks for himself or herself or whatever this thing is they call a God. But man, shoot, man, hey, we need more and more brothers, man. We even trying to get some sisters on the show to be like members and stuff like that, because we're gonna be big. I mean, the rubber met the road. The rubber met the road, bro. So with the new atheist experience, we're going to be just as big as the atheist experience. We're not in competition. See, that's one thing about black atheists and, you know, and the new an atheist experience. Atheism has no color. It has no color, man.
Right.
So so even if a white guy comes on and say, "Hey, I want to help your show grow. I'm an atheist. Let's see what we can do better." Man, we're gonna fill him out first to make sure he's not an agent, because we don't really deal with agents. Yeah. But like I said, if anybody that's gonna basically contribute to the growth of our show, because Kweli is the progenitor of this show. He's the prototype, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're all I'm Johnny come lately. I basically, when I saw the new atheist experience, I was just now like, hey man, that's why I inboxed him. I said, bro, let me help you. Let me join your show, man. I'm an atheist. Let me join your show, man. Let's see what we can do. And man, ever since I met this brother, the show has gained traction. You know what I'm saying? Even more. Me and him we were like, well, what should we call the show? No, we shouldn't call it the Black Atheist Experience. Let's call it the New Atheist Experience. That was his coming up with. You know what I'm saying? So I said, yeah, let's do this. So it's just like when you're a film director, you got to come up with ideas and stuff like that to make your film better. So, that's why me and Kweli, we brainstormed on what we should call the show. When he said the New Atheist Experience, I said, let's do it. I said, that's it. That's what we're going to call it. N.E.W.
Atheist got the New Atheist thing. That's what they call us anyway, the New Atheist. So I was like, okay, since they want to call us that, let's be the New Atheists. We are the New Atheists. You know what I'm saying? Then so kind of like a play on words, because new, short for Nubian, and new, and we black and all that shit.
Oh, okay. I dig that.
Yeah, man. That's why we started this show, man. Because we had shows like The Atheist Experience and Talk Heathen, and I would watch those shows, and I just noticed that whenever black people call in, they just kind of weren't vast in the culture to be able to answer those questions, or they would throw it to Dragnot or Mandisa Thomas or something. So I say, man, we need our own show. We need our own show where
right.
black atheists can know that they not alone, and we can fellowship together and spread the idea of free thinking in the black community, because that's what's gonna save us. You know what I'm saying? All this
amen, brother. Amen. Praise Jesus.
Stuff,
amen.
And turn the other cheek. That shit ain't got us nowhere. All this, we've been in the Bible for 2,000 years, and it got us right where we at. I say throw that shit out.
Right.
Use it for the toilet paper that it is, and try something better.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And what's better than that is critical thinking, basing if you're gonna believe something, at least have it based on something that's real, not some bullshit like fake.
Hey, did y'all know they actually had Bible toilet paper, bro? I looked it up. I don't know if it was a hoax, but they actually had Bible toilet paper, bro.
I would be scared of that, man, because like the ink would like
Bible toilet paper.
Get on yourself.
I'm gonna find something. I'm gonna find it. Where's it at? Where did you find it at?
I mean, you just Google Bible toilet paper. I think it might have been a hoax or whatever, but they had like a dude. It was like a piece of toilet paper that had all the Bible scriptures on it. I looked at it. I was like, man, it's got to be fake, man. So,
Yeah. That would be cool. I think that would be some shit.
That would be cool. I definitely would. I would support that business.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad. I don't know what. Like I said, I was just going down the YouTube rabbit hole, man, and I just happened to run into y'all's show, bro, and it was cool as hell, because I said these brothers I could chop it up with, and I could have a real conversation with them, and they understand me, and I damn sure understand them, and I'm glad I called today, man. I really am. And y'all got to support him and me. That's for sure. I'm gonna be here. How do y'all do the show? Like once a week, or how do y'all do it?
Well, go ahead, Kweli. Go ahead and explain, because I'm gonna start the Bible Comedy Hour. Starting, I gotta buy a Bible tomorrow.
So basically,
I use the toilet paper.
We a whole media outlet. So we do more than one show. This is one show that we do on Sundays, the New Atheist Experience, and we also got the New Thug Show. It's an investigative podcast and surroundings about skepticism and all that type of stuff. Just different beliefs that people believe in, and ghosts and psychics and all that. And we got the Shout Out Electron, which is a science show where we do the same thing. How we blend black culture and atheism, we blend science and black culture too. So almost like if Neil deGrasse Tyson was a little bit more hip, that's kind of how Shout Out Electron is. But we got new stuff coming on the way, so that's why the channel is just named generic after my name, because we do so many different things. So, but if you want to participate in the New Atheist Experience, the official time is 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday nights. Periodically we might do some stuff during the week, but that's just like on a whim here. But definitely you gonna catch us every Sunday night.
Well, I got y'all. I got the bell run, so I damn sure gonna I subscribe, and it'll let me know when y'all come on, man. So y'all damn sure got to support in me. That's for sure.
Hey man, like I said, man, if it's okay with Kweli, like we got brother Ray. He's part of the New Atheist Experience, because we're trying to get more hosts too, because because we need to, like I said, like what Kweli's doing, he worked very hard on this show. I've been following this brother for over a year, and he really drove the point home with me as far as atheism. I used to study to be a pastor. Like I'm like Matt Dillon, he studied to be a pastor at Jarvis Christian College in East Texas. And I'm just like, man, when this pastor told me, he gave me a book called 16 Crucified Saviors. That's why it was the book of the day last week. And I said, this is what woke me up. A pastor gave me that book, a seminary pastor. He's even said he don't believe this shit. He told me, he said, don't say nothing, but man, I'm telling you, this is not real. Here's a book. I said, what is a pastor doing with the book, World 16 Crucified Saviors? What is he doing with a book by Kirsty Graves? You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's strange. Like, we ain't glad, but I'm the only one that pointed this out, though. I'm the only one that saw it. I'm like, wait a minute, what's that on his desk? I walk by the desk and stuff. I said, World 16 Crucified. I'm like, what? And so he basically, that's when he said, hey, man, shut the door, man. I got something to tell you. And that's when he told me. It was all bullshit.
What is his name? He passed away not too long ago. God damn, my memory stuck. Say again?
James Randi.
No, it's a white dude. I think he's American, but he died from cancer.
Hitchens.
You talking about Hitchens?
Yeah, David Hitchens. Christopher Hitchens. That's the book I read. God is something.
God is not great. Yeah, man. Hey,
God is not great. That's it. Right.
Hitchens is a
that's the book I've been reading.
Hitchens is.
But it's hard. I'm gonna be real with you. It's kind of hard it's a hard read because of how if the average person trying to read it would throw them off. Yeah. But that's what got me started. You know what I'm saying? And I would read his shit, and I love to read. I've always been a big. You
gotta read Christopher Hitchens with a dictionary on hand, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, because he be on his shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was another one. What's my man? The other dude. He made a documentary, and the pastor. Come to find out, this pastor was gay. He was on. I meant not Christopher Hitchens. He used to be with Christopher Hitchens a lot. Oh shit.
I don't know. He was a pastor?
Yeah, I know y'all know him, man. He's from Britain. He's from Britain too. He's from over there. Daryl Dawkins. I said Daryl Dawkins. That's a basketball player. What was his name?
Richard Dawkins.
It's Dawkins. Yeah. And he went to this church, and the guy got pissed off at him. The pastor got pissed off at him. Come to find out, about a year later, this man was gay, and he was cheating on his wife, with other people, and he couldn't admit it though. Motherfucker couldn't. If you watch the documentary, you will see exactly who I'm talking about, because he was on a couple of TV shows talking about he wasn't gay and all this, and it was like, wow, like really, you going around trying to tell people they going to hell and all of this, and look where you at. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have anything against gay. Yeah, I don't have anything against anyone that's gay. I don't at all. But I mean, it's just what I'm saying. Yeah, I think y'all understand what I'm saying. He run around telling people who trying to, judge other people, but look at you. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna keep y'all that much. We but I just want to say, yeah, I'm glad I caught y'all, man. I'm gonna be on the show. I'm gonna be coming to check y'all out every chance I get, man. Because the more I can learn. Even though I'm about to be another year, I'll be about to be 50 years old. I'm still fly as a motherfucker. But even though I'm 50, I still love to learn. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, because my son comes to me and asks me things, you know, and sometimes I have to go and look at it, you know, look it up. Mm-hmm. And he's always, me and my son have a wonderful relationship. And he comes to me when he wants to know things, and we talk about certain shit, and I'm glad, you know, and I want to be able to point him in a direction, you know, point him in the right direction, because he's still young, you know, but he's doing good in life, and I'm proud of him. I can say this: I got 2 boys that one of them wasn't mine by blood, but I raised them.
Right.
But and I love them just the same.
Same thing. Yep.
You know, like I said, with the whole, because you know, I don't mean to cut you off. You remember the Cap City Comedy Club?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I think it's off of Anderson Lane. I used to do comedy over there at the Cap City Comedy Club off Anderson. Yeah, so that's why Kweli was like, I need you to come on, man, do some comedy shit. Because last week, man, they said I was getting calls from people like, they say, man, you had us rolling. Even my cousin was like, man, you had us, because they was at the Super Bowl listening to the show. Like, we had people at the Super Bowl listening to our show. Our show was really tuned in. Yeah. Because, man, that's how much great. I don't know what's going on tonight, but
I forgot. I gotta tell everybody we just reached for the audio podcast, not for YouTube, but the audio podcast just reached 100 followers. So I know that's not a lot to a lot of people, but that's a big deal for us to get the.
So you got 101 now. Got 101.
So everybody that's not subscribed to the audio podcast, you can go to anywhere you get podcasts and subscribe to this show. And all the shows, and if you don't know what shows we got, go to the website QueliKush.com, man. But
are they in the
go ahead.
Are they on the YouTube page, or like are they at the bottom of the YouTube?
Yeah, you can just go to the description. If you don't see it like on the live video, just click another video or go to like the About tab on the YouTube page, and you'll see all the links to all everything that I just mentioned. Or the easiest way is probably just go directly to the website, but that link is also all over my YouTube channel. So if you go to the About or just to the description tab, you will see all that.
My man. Hey, I'm gonna let y'all go. My puppy wanna go outside, so I'm gonna let him out. Hey man, it was great talking to y'all, man, and y'all will hear from me again.
Black African Power, brother. Peace and Black African Power.
For sure.
Right,
you too safe also.
All right, man. I'm glad Kamal came through, man. Richard Dawkins.
Oh yeah, man.
He mentioned Richard Dawkins. That's one of my favorite white people in the world, because he actually identifies as an African. So he don't. Oh yeah, he's from
Cape Town.
Yeah, he was born in Africa, so he is African, but you know he's a white guy, but his nationality is African. His race is white. Right. But you know he'll wear a shirt that say "We are Africans," and that's how I learned evolution, by watching his because he's a professor. He teaches evolutionary biology. So I'm like, all these people talking about this bullshit, why don't y'all take it up to the experts? They don't never do that. But that's how I learned about evolution, from watching like hours and hours of Richard Dawkins and shit. So and he
right, man,
books and shit. But go ahead, close out, Kwame.
That's my advice, man. Cause man, you know, I've been trying to find me a love interest for now, man. And it seems like all we do, man, all I do is run into these Christian women. So I got a new love interest, right? She don't know that I'm an atheist yet. So it seems like every time I tell a woman I'm an atheist, it goes south. So should I what? I know I'm older than you, brother, but it's like, you know, as a content creator, you know what I'm saying, you being a content creator, that's why I wanted to do the Dateable Atheist. Like, when I tried to do it last time, it got interrupted by Ultimate Truth dumbass. So, yeah, I think we kind of like late in the show. It's like 8:50. It's 9:55 your time. Damn, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's why I want to do the Undateable.
When it comes to these women, man, I think it depends on how serious you are about it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not sure, then just hold out. But like me personally, and I know this don't get me far. And like they say, the honest man or the nice guy finish last, or whatever, however the saying go. I tend to be honest with women, and I'm telling you right now, that shit don't work. So if you wanna go forward with this girl, you might want to lie to her, bro.
Got to, man. Because, you know, a lot of people think lying is bad, but lying can actually save lives. Like, if you look at the, what's that girl, Anne Frank, you know what I'm saying? She had to lie, you know what I'm saying, just to basically, like, save the Jews from something. With the one she was locked in the basement with. I think she, I don't know. Something happened, like, to where they had to lie to protect the Jews. Somebody, no, the basement they was in, I think the person in the basement, it was a Jewish person, I mean, not Jewish, but a German, lied for them so they could live. I guess because they knew Anne Frank, or whether they didn't agree with the violence. So sometimes lying, a lot of people think, you know, because, you know, you got Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron, dumbass. They said, have you ever told a lie? Have you ever told a lie? Or, you know, do you know that you're a sinner? I'm like, fuck you, dude. Yeah, I lied to protect myself, motherfucker. I did drive-by shooting the other day, so yeah, I lied that I wasn't there. So I wouldn't go to jail. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, look.
Shout out to Electric Kane. He said, just tell her that you're agnostic.
I don't even know if that'll work. I don't even know if that's like, nah, you know, come on, man. Now, this girl from Arkansas, so, you know, this girl from Arkansas. See, being in the Bible Belt, it's really hard for a man to date, and that's why I want to do the Undateable Atheist. Because since I'm part of the Manosphere too, I'm like throughout the week, I'll let you know, hey, can you turn the live stream on? I want to do Bible comedy. I want to do Undateable Atheist, stuff like that. See, that could be a show too, Undateable Atheist.
Yeah, man.
You know, they could be like, you know, like have people call in, like, you know, hey, you know, I can't find nobody because I'm an atheist, and you know, we can basically like coach people because the suicide rate from lack of love, man, is very high, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm not saying I'm gonna kill myself. I love myself because I don't want to die because I don't have no heaven or hell to go to. So if I kill myself, that wouldn't be fair. I'll just be doing myself a disservice. But yeah, man, there's a lot of people that they don't know how to control their emotions, man. And especially when they're atheists, you feel alone. Cause that's the when you take the red pill. Cause to me, when you look at the Matrix, when you take the red pill, Morpheus said, if you take the blue pill, you'll stay in your delusional bubble. You take the red pill, you'll come into new knowledge. So what did Neo do? He took the red pill and he woke up. So at that point in time in the movie, Neo felt alone. He was looking around like, oh man, this is dope. Like, what the fuck? And then he felt alone because he had woke up. When you're in the matrix of religion, you have a insecurity to feel acceptance. That's what religion do. It basically takes away your self-esteem and your security and gives you a new sense of security, which is the religion. So without that religion, you will become insecure. And I think that's why when insecure people get shown, or like when somebody exposes somebody insecurity, they get defensive. So that's why Christianity, people that are in religion, they get defensive of their religion because that religion is their security. Their religion is their backbone. That religion is all they have. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you always hear women, God's gonna send me a man, God's gonna send me a man. Oh, you 50 years old, God ain't sent you a man yet. You know what I'm saying? So the religion is their security. That's one thing we gotta understand, that it's their security. So to break them out of that type of security and give them a reality, I think people will start walking away. And that's what happened to me. I had to basically walk away because I realized that religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam was my security. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're dealing with. So what we're dealing with in the South, in the Bible Belt, a lot of women are insecure. And they feel like, you know, and they don't even follow the Bible. So they all talking about, you know, the Bible in 1 Corinthians, I think 14:34 or something like that. It said a woman must remain silent in the church house and they can't speak and shit. But you got Shirley Caesar. Who else is a female pastor? What's that girl that can sing? That woman that can sing. But you got female pastors down here, Paula Pratt or whatever her name is. Joyce Myers.
Yeah, Joyce Myers.
They don't even follow the booth. So right. So, you know, but the black, you got Shirley Caesar. Yolanda something. I think I want to say Adams. She's a pastor. Paula Pratt, and you got so many other pastors, and you got this one that shakes her head a lot. Like she having a seizure or something. Like,
probably got Parkinson's, you know, or some shit.
Yeah, no, but no, she purposely does it. She says, "Oh Lord, Jesus is coming." I'm like, the fuck? And then you can the background, man. Look, I'm gonna send you a video. Crazy Christian. I'm just, oh,
I think we got the whole.
that's what we should call the show. Batshit.
Man, we gotta do another one.
Oh yeah. But yeah, man. So the reason why it's hard for people to break away from their religion is because of the security reasons. They have a death security or something like that because it makes them feel better about dying. You know what I'm saying? So when a person dies, they cry, but they like, oh, she's in a better place. Did she send you a phone call? Did she call you, or did he call you? And said, yeah, I'm in a better place, man. You know, yeah, man, we having a ball up here. Man, I'm drinking my margaritas with God. You know. So, you know,
man. And then how the hell you gonna be happy in hell knowing that somebody that you love? I mean, happy in heaven knowing that somebody that you love went to hell. It's oxymoron. I had somebody.
It's oxymoron.
That I had like basically we had a conversation, and I went through all the points of why God didn't exist, and this person told me, "You right, but basically you saying that all the things that I gave credit to God for." If I say God don't exist, then I'm saying that he ain't give me all this stuff. And I'm saying he didn't. He didn't give you all this stuff. But what they have a problem with is they, in their mind, they basically saying it's like a spit in God's face if he was real. To say, oh, you didn't actually help me graduate college. You didn't actually help me meet this woman and all that stuff that people pray for, that they give credit to God for instead of giving credit to, like when they go to the hospital and they get healed in surgery, they don't give credit to the surgeon. They say thank God. They never thank the surgeon. So basically, when we come and tell them there is no God, they feel like we saying fuck your surgery and your healing. And if it happened to you again, you probably won't get healed because there is no God. And it's that fear that keeps them into it. But it's levels to this indoctrination thing, and there's so many different reasons why somebody might believe. You know what I'm saying? And you can't. It's no like recipe to shake somebody out of that shit. And again, to reiterate. Some people can't be helped, man. Some people just want to believe what they believe and they don't care about what's true. So that's probably the first question we should ask people, like, do you care what the truth is? And if they say no, we just hang up on them.
Exactly, yeah. Because, you know, the debate between Bill Nye and Ken Ham.
Oh, man. When Bill Nye.
You see that? Yeah, Bill Nye said, is there anything that can, you know, if we show you the evidence or whatever and you can find it to be true, will you still believe in God? He said, yeah. So you don't care about truth.
Yeah, you don't. I'm going to clip that shit out, man. I'm glad you brought that shit. I'm going to clip that part out, play it next week. And then he asked Bill Nye first. He said, is there anything that will convince you that God is real? He said, yeah, evidence. And he asked him the same question. Is there anything that will convince you that God is not real? He said, nope. So that show you right there. You closed-minded as fuck. You just want to believe. But man, happy Valentine's Day to everybody that celebrated, man. It's 10 o'clock my time, so we gonna close out, man. Kwame, I'll let you have the last word, brother. You got it.
All right, man. Y'all come check out the New Atheist Experience, man. And we're gonna do Bible Comedy Hour starting next week. I'm gonna talk with the host, and we're gonna get this shit rolling, man. Because I want people to laugh, man. Laughter's the best medicine, man. If y'all come to the Bible Comedy Hour, I promise you, I'll make it worth your while, man. You know. Also, thanks to everybody that called into the show. Preach to Brother Ray and preach to other Brother Kwame. Man, come back, man. We need more and more members, man. It's okay to come out of the closet of atheism, man. Fuck what everybody say. Be you. Don't let nobody determine your life because you only got one life to live and you ain't got no heaven and hell to go to. So come to the New Atheist Experience. Check us out. Be a part of the team. Be a Patreon. Hit us up if y'all got any questions. We love y'all. Happy Love Day to y'all. And